You should hear Andy clicking away, I think.
I am clicking away.
Yeah, on the left side. Oh yeah? Can you see Mortal Kombat stuff?
Mortal Kombat.
See it coming up now. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Well, I'm right now up close to the thing. Right. Thanks a lot, Vinny. Well, oh, that was me. That was headphone on the 0 key, unfortunately. All right. Thanks a lot, baby. Bye. Okay. Bye.
Did you get it?
All right, Andy. We're back.
All right. That's excellent.
And we're now streaming to Mortal Kombat in the background as well. So, fun all around. So let's start.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's start back from the beginning. What are you doing right now?
Well, we just put Screen.com up, actually.
Yeah. Oh wait, so Screened is now up as we speak?
Screened is up as we are conversing.
That's pretty cool. So the DB, you were able to get into that server and then we just pop it up.
Yeah, exactly. I did a health check just to make sure everything was solid, and then turned on the web boxes again, and everything was good.
Cool. So the only one we have left is Giant Bomb, and again, we're just in the waiting game for it, correct?
Exactly. And we also have some internal stuff. All of our metric stuff is still down, so there's a huge queue of data that's been collected but hasn't been processed yet.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that server comes back up, then we'll be able to kind of empty that queue and see our pretty graphs again.
And that's mostly our analytics stuff, I assume?
Yeah, all the Rubik stuff, yeah.
I'm just going to check with people in the chat so that I can see. Can you guys hear Andy now? Hopefully you can hear Andy. Yeah, they can. All right.
Yeah, they can hear me.
Okay, cool.
That's right.
So again, guys, we're just waiting on Giant Bomb. It's the last one. We're just gonna keep you guys entertained and sit here, take some calls, and have fun. And I don't know much about this audiovisual stuff, which is why you've got just a random replay of Mortal Kombat going on at the moment. I wish I could do more for you, but that's what you're gonna get. So, deal with it. That's just how it's gonna be. Hopefully, you guys can hear me a little bit better now. I see they're saying I was a little silent, but hopefully it's back. Anyways, Andy, I'm gonna drop you off so that you can get back to your work.
All right.
I will start taking calls and give me a text or something on the phone. Well, obviously it'll just take over, and this show will be over. But send me a text when it's ready.
All right, we'll do.
See you, Duder.
All right, later, man.
Hello, Duder. You are on the air.
Hello?
Hey, it's Dave.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, wow. Let me close out of the stream then.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. I'm actually Zombie Pie, a mod over on GiantBomb.com.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Zombie Pie. I know who you are. What's up?
Nothing much. Waiting for the site to come back on and finally getting a call through.
Where are you calling from?
Right now, I'm from Chico, California, getting my education. But when I'm done with college, I actually live in Pleasant Hill.
Oh, cool.
California.
You think you're going to stick around there? Or are you going to
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the chat people are going nuts for you, man.
Oh, Jesus.
So, dude, Of course, you got to call it now because yesterday we had tons and tons and tons, and so we just started this thing. So I've got only 20 instead of the normal 100 that have popped up. So hopefully
Awesome.
Skype here will not kill between us. You got any general questions or any fun stuff? You just wanted to call up and chat.
Well, I had a question. Oh yeah, I have a hardcore Dave question.
Oh yeah.
Old school
Oh god.
Computer game question.
Mm-hmm.
That finally I get to ask someone who I think can answer my question.
Sure.
Terror from the Deep.
Oh, the XCOM.
Does it continue the legacy of XCOM? Because I remember playing that game and kind of being disappointed. And now I'm trying to
I remember Terror for the Deep mostly just being very similar to the first XCOM. The one that went wildly off course was
yeah.
Apocalypse.
Yep.
Which was a radically sort of different game. I'm still kind of bummed, I guess I like what they're doing with the FPS game,
I
but
totally am not sold on what they're doing. with
Yeah.
the games. I mean, I'm looking at it and it's like, kind of looks like the change from the original Fallout to the new Fallout games, but it looks even more sketchy.
yeah, well, I think it looks, just fairly, standard FPS-y type stuff, and that world's okay, but I don't think you necessarily need the XCOM. It's just resurrecting a brand, I guess. Nobody's going to play, turn-based strategy games anymore. Nobody's going
Which
to
is
play.
a damn shame.
Yeah, I mean, always been my favorite stuff, but it's not like those games. The XCOM games are probably a little hard to go back to, but you can still play, Fallout Tactics or something like Temple of Elemental Evil or all those kind of games. They still run fine. Even Jagged Alliance 2 is still a playable
Oh god,
game.
yeah.
So
Those games are all on Steam also, most of them at least.
yeah, I know you can get Jagged Alliance 2 like extremely cheap these days. Probably like a $5 game, and still very fun.
But yeah, I'm just gonna say also the Giant Bomb community Twitter feed. I got like 50 to 100 people to follow me by bombarding motherfuckers on Twitter. So if you guys ever decide to like crash again, I would totally be cool with that.
Oh wait, you're saying you just got a bunch of followers because
Yeah,
of it?
because of this whole crash thing
Well,
and
dude,
stuff like that.
are
yeah.
you just Zombie Pie on Twitter as well?
No, I'm Giant Bomb Squad.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
I do that.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah. Also, thanks for not suing me for possibly misrepresenting the Giant
Oh,
Bomb.
dude, we know that stuff's there. We don't. You're promoting us, so do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, but then again, every now and then I notice that I'm on lists of employees. People think I'm an employee with all the stuff, and I was always kind of iffy that I was in trouble for that. or
Oh,
something.
you're not in trouble with us, or at least not with me. I don't know anybody that look at that kind of stuff. We get tons of people that use. I think the only ones where we ever really check up on stuff are if somebody's putting up like an actual app on like Android or something that they plan on using the Giant Bomb name. We don't really care. It's like we just want to make sure that it's a quality product. So it's like if it is, that's fine. I mean, it's not like we're working on any Android stuff at the moment, so go with it as long as you plan on supporting it. It's always fine.
Yeah. Also, Russian Giant Bomb is still up even with the crashes.
Yeah, Russian, yeah, or Game
Game
Bomb.
Bomb.
GameBomb.ru. Did you hear the Russian guy that called in yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty awesome. I will use my ears and listen from. It was great. It was I couldn't even script it better, but it's been pretty good. What have you been playing these days? You playing Portal like everybody else?
Pretty much Portal, and also my friend actually just got it, and I decided to jump back in so as that I could play co-op with him. I've decided to go back to Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
He just finally got the game for the first time, and I'm playing co-op with him.
Did you play through all the expansion pack stuff?
Some of them, not all of them, That's a game where I completed it, had fun, played some of the DLC, but I never really had the motivation to play all of the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Jeff would always talk about how the DLC was some of the best that he's played for downloadable content.
Yeah, I just like that world. Like I thought Borderlands did a really good job of just kind of creating its weird Mad Max style alien world or whatever the hell they had, and it was fun. Like that was just a fun game.
But it's totally crazy that when I'm playing co-op with him, that those boss battles are still totally janked up and totally messed up and still have all the exploits that they did when the game first launched.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy
Yeah.
that stuff is still in there.
Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, to be honest, I never even really played a lot of that game in, the co-op type stuff. I mostly played it as, just a single player, FPS, and just made my way through it. So, like, I just kind of expected a lot of that kind of stuff. But
Also, I heard some really weird things about the PC version of Borderlands. Like,
it was okay. I think, the game had the usual problem that most games that are ports have these days, is that just the menus weren't really made for the PC. So you have just all these little awkward, elements where, like, if you're reading a quest, you can't use, the mouse wheel to scroll, through the quest. You have to actually click buttons. And it's annoying, but what are you going to do? It's at least that you get the game on the PC and it runs fairly well. But yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else from me, Zombie Pie? You want me to get somebody else?
Nah, you probably should take someone else. Also, look forward to moderating the forums and the wiki once the site goes back up.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, boy.
the good thing
Have
for
to
you
deal with
is you
spam
won't.
bots.
Yeah, you won't have a crazy queue of new submissions, at least.
Literally the first comment on the Anime Vice thread for Anime Vice is up was literally a spam bot. And it's like, oh, man, now I have to deal with that soon when the site goes back up.
Yeah, I'm sure they love to target us pretty well. So
I think they're the happiest people now that the sites are coming back up.
Yeah,
now those Beijing, most of them are from Beijing and Russia. The Russia spam bots are also kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. Now they get to advertise about Nikes and clothes and dick pills.
Yeah, they definitely should just go to Game Bomb. That site's up. So
go direct to the source.
Yeah. All right, Zombie Pie Man. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Finally got a call in.
Yeah,
awesome.
Dude. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye. All right, dudes. As you know, Giant Bomb's still down. We've managed to get the other sites up, and by we, I mean Andy and our team of engineers. We're getting close. We're just waiting on Giant Bomb. Amazon's been going through, and these things have been, coming up over the night. Giant Bomb's the only one that we don't have up, and we're just kind of waiting it out, and trying to keep everybody entertained while it's there. But if you really need your Whiskey Media Jones, all the other sites are still running. You can still make your way to over those. But in the meantime, we're just taking calls and having fun. So let's take another call in here. Hey, Duder, you were on the air, and you.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Oh, let me just turn down my.
Yeah, no problems.
Hey, all right, okay, I'll turn off the stream now so I can hear you properly.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I had seen your icon yesterday as one of the millions that made it through, and you sent me a couple Twitter messages, so I felt bad that I didn't get you on.
I stayed up to 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get a call in last night. What am I doing with my life, man?
Yeah, well, you got one in here. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Basingstoke, which is a small little town in the United Kingdom. Yeah.
Are you excited for the royal wedding?
Yeah. I mean, that's next. I think that's this Friday. So that should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
oh, you still there? Random guy, you there, buddy? Oh, guys. You know what that means. That means Skype died on us because too many people called in. But I'll get it back running here in a second. We'll try and get our buddy back on. Luckily, his icon is fairly easy to pick out. It's just a picture of me. So that makes it fairly fun. But Skype just takes a good 30 seconds to spin back up. We'll get him running, and hopefully we can hear more about the British wedding. I really have no idea about it. I've always just been weirded out by that there's still royalty. It's kind of weird to me. Like, I also just, it seems weird that, Charles is he's like 65 or something, and he's still not king. So he'll just have like a couple years, and then he passes it on. Just seems kind of bum. And, but least the new the new princess. What do you call it? Yeah, it's a princess now. I don't know the actual terminology when you just get married. You marry a prince, you become a princess, I believe. But yeah, she's pretty good looking. So hopefully that'll work out. Again, I don't know much about the TriCaster setup that we have here. So we're just playing some Mortal Kombat stuff from yesterday. Anyways, Skype's back up. We're gonna get right back on it. And you're back.
Hey, hello.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Don't worry. I understand you having problems like that yesterday, weren't
Yeah.
you? So
So can you fill it out? Does she become a princess when she marries him?
I don't know. I don't think that's. I mean, like, if the Queen dies, then it's supposed to be Prince Charles that takes over and becomes king. But I don't know. Maybe he just will pass it on. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you know.
So you got any
I
questions?
don't know.
For us?
Yeah, I have actually. Basically, I run. I've been doing like a couple of like WordPress blogs at the moment because I want to kind of like ease my way into like sort of CSS sort of in a way.
Yeah, of course.
And that I sort of thought that would be cool sort of thing to do. So I run a couple of like fan sites for like bands and stuff.
So plug them. I want to hear them. I'm gonna go check them out right now. Tell me.
All right. Okay. One's called starsdie.com. It's for an English rock band called Porcupine Tree.
Porcupine Tree.
Yeah.
All
you
right.
have you heard of them? You heard of them?
I have not. I'm
Oh, you should. You
at
should. They're really good.
starsdie.com.
Starsdie.com. Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. Hopefully we don't break
Awesome.
down your whole server. Your
Whole server
Yeah.
server just crashes.
Yeah, your website stayed up apparently through all this.
Oh yeah, I know. I was worried like mine was going to go down. I was like, oh no, I'm not powered by Amazon. No, it's not gonna go down.
So
But,
you're
yeah,
just you're a fan of the band and you just wanted to make a
yeah,
website.
yeah. I was just a fan of the band. I go to all their concerts and but yeah, I mean, the band like officially sort of put out on their Twitter page, their Facebook page. They've been like giving me like a load of sort of support for it. So it's been really good.
That's cool. Back in the day, I used to do kind of similar stuff. I actually ran a small Radiohead fan site.
Oh yeah, Radiohead are awesome.
Back
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this was old though. This was like Ben's era Radiohead, and I think at one point I even had around the Kid A time I had the domain initsrightplace.com.
Oh yeah.
And I used to run like some weird, just like tech company using that name. I think I even like got some company name in Maryland or something. It was very weird. But you dig doing the front end stuff. You don't think you're gonna go into back end?
I don't know. Well, mostly I just sort of write all the content for my sites, and I just sort of do that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I am currently studying BTEC IT at college, which is going to end in a couple of months. So I after that I'm probably going to go to university, and I'm doing a media production course at uni. So that's kind of towards more sort of doing sort of video stuff, which I'm also interested in. But I don't know. I could teach myself code and do all that sort of stuff, and I'm trying to slowly sort of ease my way into it, so I'm not sort of just sort of in the situation where I'm like, oh god, what does all this code mean? So
Yeah, well, the site looks
yeah.
fairly clean. You're just using a theme that somebody's made, and
yeah.
kind of redid
But
the header and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I've done all the graphics for it and everything. So, because when you just get the theme, it just is very sort of bland and plain. They basically rely on you to insert all your graphics and get all that sort of stuff in there. I've used like a lot of plugins as well, WordPress plugins, in order to give the site its current functionality. So
to
it's all
put
about
in like
that.
Twitter stuff and all that. Kind
Oh
of
yeah, like Twitter feeds down the side, like polls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody. I get asked a lot of times. Everybody's like, "How do you get into doing this kind of stuff?" And I pretty much say, "Do exactly this." Go build a website off WordPress. You don't need to. I know it gets a bad rap sometimes, but it's a pretty full-featured program, and you can.
It is, yeah. It's got a massive community of people who make plugins as well. Yeah,
hugely documented. You can sit there, and the best part about it is that if you actually just sit and look at like some of the template code stuff, you're gonna learn the basics of how sort of database-powered websites work. You'll see how variables sit in a page and for loops and all that kind of fun stuff. So,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been moderately successful so far. I mean, there are people chatting on the forums, and yeah, I've got like a forum thing in there where I use Vanilla Forums, and it allows you to basically embed a forum,
Yeah, I know
like
Vanilla.
into your page.
Yeah.
So Vanilla's got quite a small community though, like not a lot of people sort of behind that. But
Yeah, most of the time
it's-
people use like PHP or like,
Yeah.
you know, which are a little too heavy probably for something like what you're using. I think Vanilla is
Yeah.
probably a good choice.
Yeah, because I was looking at PHPBB and
Yeah.
I was like, how can I like embed this into a page? Because like when I was doing the forum, I was like, people don't want to just be taken to some like off forum. You know, I want to keep the experience that they're on one page and
Of
it's all
course.
there.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want them to be distracted from like the content that's on the main site. So I wanted just to put a forum right in there on the page with the header and the banner at the top, and just to remind them that they haven't been taken to some external location. So yeah. But yeah, I think Vanilla was a pretty good choice. I got some plugins in there, like shows like top posters of the forum down the side and stuff. And I was trying to get like a sort of a chat working, so like a live chat on the side of the forum.
Sure.
But I couldn't really get that working. I don't know if that was, obviously just me being stupid or like the actual person who made it or sort of made a phone, like a little fault in the CSS or something. But I don't know, but it's all right. People seem to like it. And I actually went to a recent gig with T-shirts of the actual, like, the logo of the shirt, the logo of the site on, and a lot of stuff advertising it. And I got a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, hey, what's your site? And so that got a lot more, people visiting my site, which is great. So, I mean, it's just the same if, like, if the Giant Bomb dudes turn up at, like, PAX, people instantly recognise them, and, it's that sort of
Yeah, dude,
promotion,
it's
really.
fairly crazy.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I just kind of sit in the background. That's the nice part about being like a minor character of the Giant Bomb universe is that Drew and I kind of get interchanged. It's either, somebody will come up and say, hey, Drew, or, hey, Dave, to Drew. So it works out. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I just get to get drunk at the bar.
That's always an advantage, isn't it?
Yeah. So do you have an actual question, or are you...
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask about like video stuff. Like, I mean, I'm currently using on my site like a video hosting service called Syncopa, which I use to sort of host video. And I was wondering if there was like a sort of different alternative, like I could, because I'm currently paying Syncopa to like have like a certain amount of storage, but I've only got like 5 gigabytes of storage at the moment. Of like storage that I can upload video content to and have it shown on my site.
I mean, why aren't you using something like YouTube?
Because there's something about like basically the band, like if you like take videos of like them performing at a show and then put it in, there's a lot of things on YouTube now with like copyright and people taking down content that like they have like I'm not saying that I want to put like copyrighted content on my site.
Sure.
I'm just saying they have like extreme copyright measures, and some bands like all bands that are signed on like Warner. I can remember that there was a band called Pendulum, and they actually uploaded a music video to their channel, and it was like a proper music video, official and everything, and Warner just took it down because they thought it was like breaching copyright. So it's like so I don't know if it's gonna like happen to me, but I just chose not. I started doing YouTube, and then like one of my videos got taken down, and I was like, well, what if like I put up a bit of content and then like they just decide to take it down? What's gonna happen? So,
yeah, I mean the big choice is whether you host stuff yourself. There's obviously like the cost that you're going to get involved in that. The easiest thing you could do these days, if you know the analytics of your site, you could always just use HTML5 because the browsers these days can play video natively in the page, and that way you're just uploading the files to a server, and it doesn't need to be through like a video hoster. It just needs to be live somewhere. And for storage, you could use anybody. You could use S3. You could use probably just, I know you probably have this, hosted through, just some, site that probably gave you like a one-click install. Yeah. But you probably have like an FTP, right?
Tea time.
all right.
You probably have a FTP or something, right?
Yeah. All right, I gotta go get my dinner. All right.
Okay, dude. Don't worry, dude.
All right.
See you, dude.
All right. Thanks very much.
All right.
Bye.
Yep. we're interrupting somebody's dinner. The radio show continues. I'm actually kind of hungry. It's noontime here in the States, and I'd like to get some food myself, but the sights are down, so we're still running. Joey just walked in. How you doing, Joey?
Good, how you doing?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Hey, and Joey's dog came in. Hey, Lucky, how you doing, buddy? All right. We just interrupted somebody's dinner.
Huh.
Yeah, somebody was talking, and then their girlfriend and the mom came by and told them, dude, gotta eat. So I had to leave. Anyways, we're gonna take some more calls here. Again, the updates with the site, we've got all 4 of them. All the other ones running. Even the whiskeymedia.com site is running. The only one that we're waiting on now from Amazon to initiate is Giant Bomb. My guess is it'll probably be in the next couple of hours. But you've been hearing me say that pretty much the last 3 days. So instead, we're just taking calls and killing time. So let's take another call here. Hello there. You are on the air.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Canada, but I'm calling from Denmark.
You're in Denmark? What are you doing in Denmark right now?
Well, I'm married.
Oh, well, and what? You're married to Denmark, or?
I suppose
Yeah.
to some degree. No, I met a nice Danish girl, and they actually pay you to go to university here. So it was sort of a lot easier for me to come here while she finished her education than
So did you become
have her
through
leave.
marriage? Did you become a citizen?
Oh God, no.
No.
It's remarkably difficult to get citizenship here now.
But they'll pay you, a foreigner, to go to school.
No.
Oh, they're paying her.
They pay her now.
Ah, I got it. How'd you guys meet?
Now this is incredibly nerdy, but we actually met playing EverQuest 2.
Yeah, you did. Of course
Yeah.
you did. Was she a
Yeah.
healer? What were your roles?
Oh, she was a bard, and
Uh-huh.
I was what the hell was I? Some sort of rogue. I don't know. I got her about when she came to spend Christmas with me about a year after we met.
Mm-hmm.
I got her WoW, and then she never really looked back. So God, I don't even remember all the classes in that game.
Why were you playing EQ2 and not jumping on the Warcraft horse?
At the start, I don't know. I think it's because because I actually got them both when they came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I made a warrior, and I never really got into that whole rage management thing. I think if I had made another class first, I really would have gotten into it. So I went over to EQ. I was playing that, and then I started. I went over and was playing WoW again. I realized I like this a lot better.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then I guess they've changed EQ2 a lot to be a lot more like WoW now. But
yeah, I played it briefly, kind of when it came out, and to be honest, I just couldn't get past the look of the game. Like EQ2, it had that, when it came out, like everybody was just a little bit too shiny for me. It looked like everybody was covered in water all the time. But
yeah.
Other than that, I love the people that sort of stick with games when there's, the big, huge, popular alternative in there, and they're still, jamming with the other game regardless, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I think about there was a time I kept thinking to myself, why are people still playing like Ultima Online or something, or why are people still playing the original EverQuest?
Mm-hmm.
I think those people are crazy. But then I think, well, how long have I been playing WoW? It's like, people say, oh, the graphics on WoW, Rift just came out, and everyone's saying, I mean, I know WoW's got like a bazillion subscribers, but it still looks dated the art style helps keep it not seem so dated. But
Yeah, I think Blizzard's always been good with just their texture stuff and their world building, all their color. They've always been fairly low poly guys, so the games are kind of more aesthetically pleasing than technically pleasing these days.
Yeah, I've tried out Rift, and you can really crank the settings up, and it looks really beautiful. But I still have an active WoW account, so I'll go play that as well, and it's I don't know. I think it holds up really, really well,
Mm-hmm.
and so my wife and I still play that a lot.
So you got a question? Why are you calling in?
Oh, first off, I want to echo something that a lot of people I think have been saying, is that it's remarkable how many times over the last several days I keep going to my favorites tab, or I use Safari, so I have that what's it called? The where like the
Little bookmark,
grid of
yeah.
all of my favorite sites,
Sure.
and I open that up, and it's like half of them are gone,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh shit. Well,
Yeah.
so I just apart from wanting to tell a story, which is totally tangential story, but I just thought you might get a kick out of it. But first off, I wanted to say that this reminded me how much over the past several years I really come to, I don't know, almost rely on your sites. I don't know. I hope this doesn't sound too pathetic, but
No, that's
it really helps me feel connected to where I came from, because I'm Canadian, but after university, I moved down to Phoenix. I was in Arizona,
Mhm.
and then I was there for about 10 years until I moved here. And I mean, Denmark is like almost
You
everyone
watch out.
speaks English here.
We've got other Danish guys. You better watch out, because I know I even just saw one pop up on Skype. It's that Danish guy. So you better
No,
watch out.
I don't want to. This is not really to knock it or anything,
Uh-huh.
but I mean, it's it's a Western European nation. Most people speak English,
Mhm.
but there's still a culture shock coming over here, and being on your sites all the time still makes me. It's kind of helped me feel connected to my
So
time. When
what's the harder thing basically doing the move over there? Is it that you the video game releases I'm sure are off, the movie ones are definitely off, but like what's the biggest one that's kind of like the biggest lag in between where you're living now and having lived in Canada?
Oh, well, like in terms of entertainment, I think I have to say movies can be take longer to get here than games.
I'm just saying, like, it
so-
would bum me out, like, reading websites about, all the new stuff that's out and, seeing all the hype and all the excitement. And then you have to sit there and wait, another month or something before something comes out.
Yeah, so that definitely sucks. Luckily, with the really big movies are doing international releases, so at least
Mm-hmm.
that keeps me sane. Games, I usually only have to wait for another. I don't know. It's like Tuesday in North America and Friday here.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if I'm lucky, it'll come out the same week.
Yeah.
They're a lot more expensive. Denmark's actually, I believe, it's the most expensive place in the European Union to live. So games here cost, when they're released, like almost $100 US. I think with the conversion rate.
That's nuts.
So-
That's kind of like how Australia is, too. It's
it's-
pretty crazy over there as well.
That's I guess that's the bigger shock. The price shock is pretty rough. Like it's like 450, 500 kroners, and it's about 5 kroners to $1. So yeah, so about $100. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But you guys have really helped me. Man, you've been a bit of an anchor.
Well, dude,
I
thanks a
gotta
lot.
say-
I mean, that I appreciate it. We definitely love hearing it. I think the fun stuff for us is that, even with the sites being down, we still kind of find some random way to still keep the community going and doing all that kind of stuff. I know it's only, a couple days, but it's been fun for us to kind of, mix it up and do something different.
Oh yeah, I mean, I probably every day at least I'm probably spending at least a half an hour gobbling up the content or pretty much getting everything I can, because I mean, even just hearing people speak English the way I remember, I'm not saying I have a problem with accents, but it just feels like, oh, maybe I'm like out on the street or I'm in a Best Buy just listening to people talk, hearing you and Jeff and Ryan talk. It's just,
Hear people say fuck a lot, apparently.
oh God, no! People say fuck a lot here. Actually, saying fuck, I had to make sure to remind my wife, because saying fuck in Denmark is not as big a deal as it is in North America. Actually,
Yeah.
it's like it's a bit of a culture shock. Okay, I have my one tangential story that I got to tell you.
All right.
I just this happened to me when I was moving over here.
Uh-huh.
If you want to sort of, this is a good way to start off a sort of surreal move from one culture to another, like one life to almost another. So I flew, like it's a really long flight from Phoenix. It was a direct flight. Well, it was from Phoenix to London and then to Copenhagen. And
Sure.
then I actually live in, well, it's spelled Odense, but it's pronounced Odense, which is actually the birthplace of and home of Hans Christian Andersen.
Mhm.
Totally unrelated. Anyways, the plane was massively delayed due to thunderstorms in Arizona. So it was really late. We finally made it into London, but we missed the connection to Denmark. So we were given like a Compte hotel room
Sure.
for the night at the Hilton that's connected right to Heathrow by a walkway. So I don't even remember. It was like the middle of the damn night. We got I was with my father. We moved. He helped me move over. We got given coupons so we could get like a free meal.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to this sort of buffet. It's the middle of the damn night. Like we're getting some food. We're sitting down. There's maybe one or two people wandering around in the restaurant, and I look over and I see this guy, and there's this man kind of goes by me and my dad and goes. He gets a glass of orange juice, goes, sits down, starts eating, and I keep looking at him. Like,
He was a
"I swear to
vampire.
God."
Was he a vampire?
No, he wasn't a vampire.
Werewolf.
He was the former Prime Minister of Canada.
He was there. Was he wearing a Whiskey Media T-shirt?
He wasn't. No, it was, I don't know if there are any Canadians listening, it was Joe Clark, former Prime Minister of Canada, by himself, middle of the night, eating some food. So he comes by us, my dad says hi, so we just talk to him a little bit. He asks me, what I'm doing. I sort of tell him my education, like I have a political science degree,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to the University of Alberta, and it's kind of funny because that's exactly the same education he had from the exact same school. So
Sure.
he says, "So what are you going to do with that?" And it's like, what can you do with that kind of education? So he laughs. So he wanders off, and I'm like, "Oh, that's weird."
And then he became a vampire.
Well, no.
You're telling me
almost.
Joe Clark's a vampire, right?
He could be.
Is
because
this
of
confirmed?
My dad,
You're
and
on the
I-
air, remember?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
He's very jowly,
Mhm.
so I don't know if he has room for fangs. But so we're wandering. We went walking through the walkway back to Heathrow and back and forth, just getting a bit of exercise before we sleep. And wandering all alone through the walkway, middle of the night. He's off wandering too in the middle of the night. It's just the weirdest thing. So it's a former leader of a G8 nation wandering by himself in the middle of the night. It's like, what is going on with my life? That was surreal. So then I moved here, and then you guys started up Giant Bomb, and
And it all came together. And then we
He kept-
later
he kept
found
me
out that
sane.
he was a vampire.
well, I mean,
Yeah. Not
I
confirmed.
survived at least. Not confirmed. Maybe he's a true blood vampire, so
Yeah.
maybe he's like really sexy and I don't realize it. Probably not.
All right, Michael, I got to grab and get some other people. But, dude, thank you for
Absolutely.
calling and saying all the nice things about our sites. We really appreciate it, and thanks for supporting us while we've been down.
Yeah, feel free to pass on my my sentiments because I'm serious. You guys have really helped me feel connected.
That's great, dude. I'm more excited that we got a story about EverQuest Love, to be honest.
Yeah, and dude, she's hot.
Well, great, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like yeah, okay.
All right,
I'm
dude.
not boasting. I'm just like good things happen sometimes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully good things will happen to us, and we'll get this site back up. But again, thanks for calling in.
Yep. Thanks again.
Mhm.
Take care, guys.
All right, dudes. Again, the site is down. We're still running. We're just doing this talk show, I guess, to keep people entertained. The other 4 sites are running. It's just Giant Bomb at this point. Amazon still got a couple locked volumes. We, of course, lost the roulette wheel of fate, and ours was in one of those bad spots. But we're just taking calls, and I can see tons and tons of calls here. So we're gonna grab some. All right, hold on. Hello, sir. You're on the air.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Hey.
If there's no lag,
There's.
oh my god.
Well, I don't
I'm
know.
speaking
Can you hear lag?
such heavy accent. I
I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, don't worry about it. You called in yesterday, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to call again later, but
Yeah, you were calling about gamebomb.ru, as I remember it. And you're from Russia, right?
It's actually a pretty good example of how bad the Russian gaming journalism is.
Yeah.
There's pretty much all of the reviews are before the game even came out. Like Portal 2, for
Yeah.
example, is like 6 months before the game even showed up here.
We
Even
saw
on
there
Russia.
was is that due either to like piracy because there's a large amount of piracy in Russia, or do you think that it's just bad journalism?
It's I don't know if it can even qualify as journalism.
Yeah.
This guy just took his ideas like, I saw this game GLaDOS is resurrecting itself because it's because of no actual reason. I killed the first one. What the fuck? Why is this game even exists? Also, it's Portal. Like, I can't give it 1 star, so it's like 3 stars.
Yeah.
Also, I'm writing about something else.
Well, I'm glad you are giving us the good translation, because I remember requesting some of it yesterday. We wanted to actually know what was on that site, so it's great.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So you have a new question for us today?
Actually, I wanted to point out the new, like, crazy Russian uber interesting game for you to check out.
Okay, what is it?
Kind of like a connoisseur. It's Cargo, the quest for gravity.
Yeah, so everybody's been telling me about this game. I haven't got, obviously we've been kind of busy here, but the last week I've been getting like nonstop Twitter messages from people just telling me about Cargo. Like, tell me what is it about?
The craziest thing is that it's not available in Russia. It's a Russian-developed game, not available in Russia yet.
So it's not put out by 1C or anybody?
No. Even on Steam, it's locked.
Weird.
But from what I've seen, it's pretty much Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, but crazier. Like, super crazier.
Super
Like
crazy.
Statue of Liberty falling from the sky and landing in a thing, and then icicle falling from the sky, and all the water becomes ice. It's crazy.
That sounds great. I will promise you, if we get the sites back up, I will try and get a quick look of it running in the next couple weeks here.
It looks very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds silly. So have you been able to play it at all because you can't get it there, or you just been following it like on the sites?
Yeah. I'm been following it. There's not even a pirated version yet, so it's kind of hard to even see any good video of it.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, it's really something to look out for.
Well, that's good, dude. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it. And I'm glad we got you back on.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, have a good day. Have a
Have
good
a
day.
day.
You too.
You too.
All right, guys, that was our Russian buddies on. He called in yesterday telling us about gamebomb.ru, which is the fun website that sort of mimics Giant Bomb. I guess that's all you can look at right now because the site's down, but should have it up fairly shortly. I'm going to pick up one of my favorite callers here, former intern of Whiskey Media, Matt Kessler. Kessler, you there?
Hello.
Kessler.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Of course I can hear you.
Hold on, let me pause the other stream.
Yeah. This is
Hey!
this is going back to our days of when you were running your podcast.
That's right. We got you on Bombs Should Have a Face at one point. It was the height of our collective podcasting careers.
I think you should tell this. I think you should tell the story of your community bomb cast.
Tell the story of how this came to be and how. Okay. How did it all go? Giant Bomb seemed like a super cool site right away, which is pretty awesome since initially it was just that blog and just you were putting up news stories sporadically. It wasn't even a lot of video content at that early point.
No, we didn't have anybody. I think it was just Jeff by himself.
Yeah, just a couple. But when the site launched, it was definitely, a lot of people were invested in Giant Bomb right away.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people wanted to help support that in any way they could. And one of the things that I did in those early days of 2008 was get a bunch of people who were hanging out in the IRC, the early Giant Bomb IRC, one of the old chat rooms that a bunch of Giant Bomb members, they may still use. It may still be around.
I mean,
I don't know.
if they're using it, it'd probably be a pretty good time to use it.
Yeah,
right now.
exactly. Right now.
Yeah.
Just found a bunch of people, and we just said, hey, we have Skype. It's clear that you can do a podcast just recording Skype messages, even if it sounds terrible, because Jeff and Ryan had totally done it. Their earliest podcasts were, calling each other via Skype before they were in person, at least for this site.
Yeah.
So
and you were doing it. You guys had a full international cast. I remember.
That's right. We were worldwide, everywhere in the globe. America, Europe, Canada, England, Scotland, everywhere that was important.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. The four corners.
And so
America, Canada, Europe, and Scotland.
I think you'd been running this thing for a considerable amount of time. It's probably like 2 months or something.
Yeah, maybe like 10 weeks. I think Getting You On was like our 10th episode extravaganza. Yeah. And it was probably Jensen or Tokyo Chicken.
Sure.
Two of the early hosts, two other usernames. That's not their real names.
Yeah.
There's no one named Tokyo Chicken.
And then basically they contacted me, and I'd already been following. They're like, "Hey, do you want to be, on the show?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do. Of course I do." And so I sat, kind of like today, where it was like a Saturday around noon, because that's the only time you guys all got together.
It's because we're in 8 different time zones.
Yeah.
It was impossible to schedule that thing. When we got episodes, it was just the simple act of recording an episode with with only 2 major malfunctions was an incredible achievement.
Which is why I always tell people, it's like, people are looking for internships, or they're looking at how they get in and stuff. It's like, well, you gotta make yourself known on the sites first. So, you kind of did that, definitely right from the beginning. It was like, who the fuck is this crazy guy? What the fuck? And, and be consistent about it. Like, kept doing it for a long time. So, a lot of people say like, oh, how, I'd like to review video games. And you tell them, well, how many reviews do you have on, Giant Bomb? And a lot of times the answer is none. And I don't really understand how, it's like, dude, you got to write, if you want to do this, you got to practice your craft, and you got to put it up at least someplace where you're going to get some feedback. So put it up on IGN, put it up on GameSpot, doesn't matter, but you got to, put your reviews up somewhere. It's not,
get yourself out there. See what you can do. See if you can get other people to react to you at all. Yeah. Most of the people reacting to our show were livid. They despised it. Because it was weirdly exclusive and self-referential. It was a show that routinely fell up its own asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, we were having a blast. I mean, and we felt like pretty proud of it, but we put it out there. And
people are livid now. I mean, I'm looking at the chat right now. They're like,
I'm sure today. I'm not actually looking at the chat because I paused it so I could do this properly. What I'm trying to guess. They hate the sound of my voice. They let's see what else. I'm talking about dumb shit.
There's been comments about us going. Are we going to go to Outback afterwards?
Okay, that's awesome. Whatever. I would told. Come E3 next year. Yeah. Actually, should I just straight up say it? I haven't actually put that out anywhere. But I'm coming back.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'll officially announce it here. I'm coming back for the summer
on the big radio network that we have here.
That's right. I'm announcing listeners. This is a Dave Cast exclusive.
Yeah.
This is Smooth Dave, only for you. Yeah. I'm coming back, so we'll have another opportunity.
It wasn't to fill time about the the websites being down. Specifically, we needed to announce
this was the whole reason you were doing this radio show, to build up to this important announcement.
Yeah. How did you have fun? Did you have fun when we went to PAX? You ended up on stage a little bit.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun.
In your bandana.
The guy in the Bastion that's where the bandanas were from. He wears it around his neck like a kerchief.
Yeah.
It's not like a head thing. He's not like hiding his face.
Sure.
He's wearing around his neck.
So
and some people don't have faces or bodies or necks. They're meant to wear accessories.
Yeah.
And this is our burden in life. And sometimes we just have to soldier on and look like idiots.
Yeah. And so there you are, basically in front of 1,000 people with a bib.
With a bib. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I think maybe he wears it to the side, which is what gives the kerchief its kerchiefiness.
Yeah.
But no, the way I was doing it is like I had just come from the Outback.
Uh-huh.
It might as well have been slathered in red buffalo sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty awesome. Wearing the bib in front of 1,000 people.
So are you still gonna be? Do you think you're still gonna eat weird Swedish canned fish when you come, or you think those days are over?
I mean, at this point, I mean, who even knows? Who even knows the site's relationship with Sweden? I mean, if it comes and someone needs to swallow that bomb, as it were, I mean, we'll have other interns. But if they need additional people to swallow that bomb, yeah, why not?
Yeah, we've had a lot of the Swedes calling in lately. It's been pretty wild.
Giant Bomb's always done well in Scandinavia.
I'm surprised, with our Russian caller. It's always fun when we get that.
That
kind of
gentleman,
stuff.
I'll just say, I was typing in the chat. That gentleman is a champion.
He's awesome, dude.
I hope to hear more.
Have you heard anything about Cargo?
No, I just, as soon as he heard that pitch, I started looking at the trailer, and then you picked my call.
There's the other one too. There's another one everybody keeps pushing me to that I haven't had time to check out. It's kind of like some weird FPS. It almost sounds like something that Derek Smart would make. It begins with like a P. It's one word. I'm sure the chat will pick it up for me, but looks absolutely just insane and broken, and all the good things that you love. About games that come from that area, because they're just so different.
We need
precursors. That's it. Somebody got it for me. Thank you, Zagovich. But we lost Kessler, of course, because Skype died out. But we'll see if we can get him back. So that he can continue doing his thing, being Kessler, wearing his virtual kerchiefs. More, I'm curious as to what Kessler's up to. He's finishing school, or we're hoping that he's getting his school finished. I know the timeline is quick with him, but we just have to wait, get chat running, or get Skype running again. We'll get everybody back up again. Giant Bomb's the only site that's still down. We've got all the other Whiskey Media sites running. ETA, I'm tired of making ETAs at this time, but Amazon says that they're in the last set of fixes, and hopefully we'll get the last one up here. They have been going up over the night, which has been nice, and Andy's been working pretty hard at home, just basically watching stuff as they pop back on. But again, just doing this radio show and keeping people entertained while we're doing this. Sorry for the loop of Mortal Kombat. That's basically the extent of my audio video knowledge and getting this thing actually running. In any case, we're gonna keep taking calls here. I'm looking at Kessler. I'm gonna hold on. You probably come back. Let's see who this is. Oh, hold on. Too many people calling. Hello, sir. You are on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, Dave.
How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We're talking with Kessler there for a little bit. He's always fun. We'll probably get back to him, but wanted to take some other calls.
Good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New London, Connecticut.
What's going up in New London, Connecticut, other than the awesome microphones that apparently they have there?
Does it sound that bad?
No, you sound actually really good versus
really?
most callers, which is kind of nice.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
We're just getting a lot of rain down here. It's pretty miserable, actually.
You've had all those crazy storms on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, it's this season's been unpleasant, to say the least.
Are you from that area originally, or did you?
Yeah, I'm originally from the Boston area up in Massachusetts. I'm just going to school down here.
Did you go to PAX at all?
No, sadly, I was right before I got home
Yeah.
for a spring break, so I missed out on it.
I was kind of disappointed when I went to Boston. We didn't hear as many accents as we wanted. We didn't get that South. It's pretty much
Yeah.
everybody's talking just normal. I think accents are dying in America.
I mean, they're not really as common as most people think out in Boston. Like,
Yeah.
they're pretty rare to find.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother has a really good one though. It's kind of funny.
Kind of salty.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So you got a question for us?
Yeah, I kind of got sort of a side one, like sort of irregular for what most people are asking, but one of my favorite things in video games is sort of the sort of fake science stuff that they always pull out, because I'm a science major at my school,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just kind of curious what your favorite sort of fake video game science is.
Fake video game science. I mean, the big one is always time travel.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there's always just ridiculous time travel. We were talking about this the other day when we were talking about Terminator. And it's like you just can't. The nice thing about time travel is you can just change the story however you want, and it doesn't make any sense. I kind of liked that. There was that game that I really like a lot, Cryostasis, which had a bunch of weird time travel. Not necessarily sciencey, but that game was all over the place. I
I
liked.
heard good things about the sort of effects and atmosphere in that game.
Yeah, it's the typical Russian stuff where, they'll make a video game that only works for NVIDIA cards, really. And, if your computer could handle it, it had, like, a lot of good snow, a lot of good, just sort of glassy effects, which was kind of neat.
Nice.
But,
I should probably check that out sometime.
I don't know, science, what do you like in it?
Well, I'm personally a big fan of the whole Resident Evil sort of the T-virus sort of deal, where bringing people back from the dead, because it's just so absolutely ridiculous with the I don't know, they never really explain it, but using a parasite sort of control dead bodies and such.
And it's always funny with the Japanese games because they always spend so much time trying to explain it.
Yeah.
And they never really, it always ends up just even more confused and illiterate than, before. Where, like,
Yeah.
most American audience, they'll just be like, no, this is just what happened,
I mean, that's Japan, man. That's just what they do.
Yeah. I like seeing a lot of that stuff. I've been playing a lot of Crisis 2 lately, and, there's some good silliness in that game as well. But I just get bummed out, I get bummed out in that game because it looks like there's a lot of missing levels. Like, you'll be going through certain stuff, and they'll have a story point, and it's like you're in a car at a certain moment, and then the next thing you know, you're in a tunnel, on foot, and it just doesn't really make any sense. Science game I did like was, what was the one Raven did, their last game? Singularity? Did you play that?
Singularity? No, I didn't.
Dude, if you like, your Mad Dr. Science, that game has it everywhere. You're wearing, of course it's got like your atypical device that's, coming from like, the 40s or whatever it is. So it's got kind of like a steampunk vibe, but you're going all through, those little weird portal things to get back and forth in that game. And all the weapons are, hugely stupid, lots of freeze guns and all that kind of
nice.
stuff.
Love
which
freeze
is
guns.
nice. Yeah. But, yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's hard to think of a bunch of them offhand. I know Arcanum was a game that I liked that mixed. The name was, I think, of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. It was this old RPG game, and it mixed a lot of the steampunk stuff. So, like, a lot of that weird kind of, like, it's technology and they're guns, but the guns are always crazy elaborate. But at the same time, they had, the magic side, magic's dying and all that kind of craziness.
What was the name of that game again?
It's called Arcanum.
Arcanum.
Yeah, I would say you could look it up on Giant Bomb, but the site's not there. I think you can get it. You could probably get it on Good Old Games these days. It's kind of playable. I'd say, as long as you don't mind like low resolutions, it's probably 640 by 480 or 800 by 600. Unfortunately, but really, really good story and really good branching stuff. It was made by the Troika guys who did. They did Temple of Elemental Evil. They also did. What was that? They did Vampire, the Masquerade, which was a pretty cool first-person RPG based off the Source engine, I think, which was kind of neat. But check it out.
Definitely. Thanks for the recommendations, dude.
Yeah, dude, no problem. You got any other questions?
No, that was really about it. I've been trying to call in for a while, but
Oh, that's good. I'm glad we got you in.
Yeah, thank you very much for taking my call. You've been doing a great job keeping us entertained. Really,
Yeah.
lots of props to you, man.
Thanks a lot, duder. All right, I'm gonna close you off and get another dude in here.
All right,
Have a good day.
Have a good day, dude.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. I've got another one where we've got 2 people in. We're gonna pick them up. These are old favorites.
Every 2 steps I was loading.
You guys, see, look at this. This is why you don't do the
Okay.
conference stuff, because you just end up talking to yourselves, and we call into you, and you're having your own conversation. I mean, what if you
Dave,
had been
yeah.
talking about pornography or something?
Maybe we were.
Yeah, well, maybe you were.
Maybe.
But Dave, this is the perfect opportunity to have a good discussion about MMOs. But this is come on, this is the time.
Were you guys already having a good discussion? You don't need me. So
Well, kind
No,
of.
we've actually-
Justin you talked to him yesterday. He runs Darth Hater.
yeah,
We met at PAX Prime last year. You know, PAX bringing people together.
yeah,
We're just kind of talking
Yep.
about MMOs because we both have the same situation where we're MMO-less,
yes.
and that's not a good thing
Yep.
for us.
So what What have you decided you're going to play?
The Old Republic.
You
Yeah.
made that decision? You don't seem very happy about that one.
I'm kind of worried about how it might turn out, but I think it's the best bet.
Well, what else is there? I mean, there's
Exactly.
Rift.
That's
I mean,
also the other
currently
thing,
out,
there's
and
nothing else.
yeah,
yeah,
It's the only bet.
well, you've got kind of Guild Wars 2, I guess. Not
Guild
full
Wars 2
scale.
look like it'll be fun, but I don't think it's going to be that time sink where I can literally just sit myself in front of the computer for a week and lose myself. And I want that back.
yeah. The funniest thing is you could possibly see Guild Wars 2 actually out before Tor, and that's kind of scary. But
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 look good though, and they are trying to like limit the instancing of it.
Yeah.
it,
It looks. I'll tell you, it looks amazing. It's definitely
don't like
one of
the
prettier
instancing, right,
games
Dave?
that's out there. I don't like what?
you
The
don't
instant
like the,
stuff?
you didn't like
Yeah.
the instant scene for.
Yeah, I mean, normally I don't like instant stuff in games. I think it's weird to be like hanging out with your buddy and then be like, all right, I'll meet you in, city name 13 or, 14 or whatever it is. I know
yeah.
that kind of kept me a little bit out of the, the cryptic stuff, the Star Trek stuff and the, what's their Champions Online.
Okay, so I actually bought a lifetime account for Champions Online when it launched.
Did
And that
you,
was one of the,
did you play
Well,
it
I mean,
a bit?
I played it a bit. Played it a bit is the perfect way to put that.
It was very easy to level up in that game. Like you could max out and see everything in that game in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I
it
think
got
I stopped at
incredibly
like
boring.
20.
And
This is the curse, though. The curse of wanting to play an MMO so badly that you try anything for a month.
yeah.
But isn't that? I mean, like, isn't the instant system actually kind of more a sort of gripe with the server system? I mean, it seems like if you got everybody on the same server and you instance it and made it like an easier sort of process for everybody to sort of enjoy and group with friends,
I just think
then that sort of problem goes away.
Well,
It-
then
it
it's the
takes
difference
you out of
between
the game.
sharding a server and just having a big server.
Personally,
Well, I
I
guess.
just think it takes you out of the game. Like you're already playing a video game. The big fun about MMOs are these big social,
Totally.
sort of experiments. And when you're sitting there and you're moving in between, and it's like, oh, you're not in the same place. It's, you'll just be making references. It's like, oh, well, I'm near this building, and it's like, well, you're really not. I can't see. I've got to jump over, and I think just missing that, physicality of character.
sense of
kinda
a world.
hurts it. Yeah.
You're in
And
the other
I-
universe.
I'm going to get flack for this, but the Matrix Online, all right, it wouldn't have worked if it was instance. Those live events were so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked because there was 3 factions just fucking fighting over this live event that happened once and it never happened again.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was rewatching that after like 2+ years of it happening. It was kind of nice.
I
Sort
don't
of
know,
catch
that
up on old
brings back
times.
both painful memories and good memories.
Yeah, it was definitely a funny little day. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see more out of the Matrix universe. I mean, it was so. It
Can
had
that
such
even
potential.
happen, though, at this point? Has it already been beaten down to enough where we won't see that happen?
I think you'll see something 20 years from now. I mean, just like these days, you get all these resurrections of old. Tron. There was a Tron movie last year. I mean,
know.
we can definitely have a Matrix movie in 20 years. I'm sure something like
Think
that.
a remake.
I don't think that you necessarily need a remake in that world. Like, you could it's open to anything. Like, what the hell happened at the end of the third movie? Like
Neo,
I still
Neo
think they
died.
ended it.
I know.
I think they ended it pretty well. I mean, as far as what they were on track for with Matrix 1, 2, and 3, if you actually were
kinda
like
like
paying
the
a
Matrix
lot of
movies.
attention. So
yeah, I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
mind.
I loved them.
I think they held up. You know, when I first saw 2 and 3, when they came out, I thought they were horrible, and I was like, what the hell are they doing? But over the years, I've kind of gone back to them. I watch them, you know, maybe 2 times a year or something, and they've grown on me a little bit. I think they get a little hokey and all that.
Do you watch the Animatrix?
No, I didn't watch the Animatrix.
You should
Animatrix
watch
was
the Animatrix.
awesome.
No, it wasn't. What are you talking about?
Yes, it was. It was totally awesome.
You're a
There
liar.
are certain segments that were phenomenal in that series, but yeah, obviously the some of them fell pretty flat. But
Yeah, I'm going to bring up a point from Matt Kessler here. He just put it in the chat. I thought it was very interesting. If the Old Republic is just WoW with voices, are people still going to stop playing WoW for the Old Republic? What do you think?
Yeah, I think people, like you said, you know, people that serially play these MMO games, I think they're always just looking for something new. Like, you get bored of the world, and it's like what you like is the interaction with the people and stuff in those games. And so for me, it's like I always just want to jump. I play almost every one of these games. Rift is the first time that I have not actively gone into an MMO, around its launch. And I think it's always, I just want to see like what they're doing. And
Did you try DC Euro?
No, I didn't. But I don't know that I don't know that I count that one.
See, but this is the thing. Like, I played it, even though I pretty much knew I'm gonna have no interest in it. But I feel like I had to give it that chance.
So how long did you make it through?
It's the first month. It's that new MMO smell always the first month, because then it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you bought Final Fantasy, what was it, 14? Then it's still free, isn't it? Are they still giving away 3 months for that?
Oh, for Final Fantasy?
No idea.
Because it was so broken, they just kept saying like, okay, here's another 30
I
days.
tried
It's still
that.
not
I
fixed.
did. That's the shortest time I've ever been in an MMO.
14.
Yeah, I
didn't try that one.
I went probably, I'll say 5 hours in that game, and I was like, nope, sorry. And
Did you play or like 11?
Yeah. I mean, I played it when it came out, and even before it was a PlayStation game, when it was on the PC, even with its crazy clunky keyboard based interface, like I thought it was fine. I think what that game did really well was its fighting system, where you'd group up and do the combos, and you'd have to time all your combos into chains. Like, that's something that still most MMOs don't do well, even to this day. Mostly WoW is just CC stuff, but you didn't have like...
It's gotten better. In Wrath of the Lich King, it really was CC, AoE, you win.
Mm-hmm.
And that Wrath was, I reckon, a huge low point in WoW.
But you didn't have stuff where like one class does this, one class does this, one class does this, and
To a certain extent.
Yeah, but not in like
Barely.
you're not gonna get like bigger hits out of stuff. It's more just a strategy, I feel, in
I would like to go to an MMO where people don't know exactly what the boss is going to do as soon as they encounter it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the boss mechanics are exactly the same. They tropes out all the time. The enrage mechanics or off tanking mechanics where you're tanking 2 bosses at the same time while one goes down. You have to kill it all at the same time. So a lot of the mechanics are exactly the same and have been the same since the EQ days.
It seems like I would love to play Eve. Everything I keep hearing about Eve sounds amazing, but that game, I just don't find the actual mechanics of it fun.
It really depends on what you're looking for in a game. If you're looking for that social stuff, I think Eve's pretty much the best game in town for a lot of that stuff, mostly just because the stakes can tend to get a little high. The hard thing with that game is it's really, really, really hard to get into. And by really hard to get into, I mean you're going to have to play that game for multiple hours a day for at least a month to at least even figure out what's going on. And during that month, you're going to have a couple times where your ship gets destroyed, when you're running on missions, and you're going to get so aggravated that you're either going to put the game down forever, or you're going to put it down and, keep going with it. And I think a lot of people just put it down forever. So
yeah, it's kind of weird though. I mean, with all these MMOs, they all sort of seem to have this like finite lifetime, and World of Warcraft at least seems to be on the edge of its, I think, lifespan. And for a lot of people, getting away from the fantasy genre and trying to get away from that, Tor seems like that, like Star Wars: The Old Republic.
At least Tor is a change of setting, at the very least. If it's not
even if it
WoW in
isn't,
space.
even if it isn't like much of a departure from World of Warcraft, at least it's, I guess, something else in a different skin that I think people might not be as bored of.
I think people really underestimating the voice acting in Tor, though. Just having the voice acting in all the quests, it's not going to eliminate the grind, but it's going to mask it to an extent which has never been seen in an MMO before. And when MMOs have tried that, Aeon had some cutscenes, Final Fantasy XIV had some cutscenes, and WoW has done better with kind of more just text bubbles instead of quest, like a paragraph of quest text. That stuff has really helped.
Mm-hmm.
And it has if that comes out and it's really good, it could have the ability to make all the MMOs come before it look completely redundant in comparison.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I just think MMOs are it's weird. I always wonder if MMOs are the future of gaming or if it's something that could potentially fade away, like people just getting sick of stuff. I know that I went back to WoW. I did, of course, over winter break. I went back to WoW and played the Cataclysm stuff and leveled a character all the way from 1 to 85 in the span of 3 weeks or something crazy. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I played for maybe a month or two after that. But then I just couldn't do the commitment. And those games, when you stay out of it for a week, like if you miss a week of that social interaction with a guild, when you come back in, it's really hard to get back. And it's just hard to get into those games.
I find like the social interactions in most MMOs now, whether it be WoW or Rift or anything, they're not. I would say they're not there. Like the communities that you had back in the older MMOs, like Star Wars Galaxies and Matrix Online, were my two big ones. They don't even compare to something that WoW, Rift, whatever the newer MMOs are. I just find the communities. There is no community.
I think you're finally becoming
not in the
old
same
man
sense.
gamers. That's all.
Not in the same sense. I'm not even old.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're on your way to becoming an old man gamer. I mean, you hear me sit and talk about all these old video games, and the new games are not like the old games. It's nothing. They don't even compare. I mean,
but am I wrong, Dave?
Yeah, you're wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying
that made it easier.
that the community of Warcraft is not like the Matrix Online. I mean, come on.
In the sense that you don't build up those relationships with other people on the server who aren't already your friends.
Yeah. Well,
but I think in a lot of ways in World of Warcraft and other ones, you're kind of taught anyone outside your party or guild is kind of your enemy because they are potentially going to take stuff away from you, whether it be mobs, kills, whatever.
I think the future of MMO gaming is making guilds smaller and smaller, making it so that you can play these games with 4 people, and 4 people are enough to be a big guild, versus the way that most of the other games are, where you have to go through all the crazy petition systems and I gotta sign up, and people trying to get everybody in their guild, just sitting in Orgrimmar. It never made any sense to me. Like, everybody plays games with 4 other people. Nobody plays games with 50 other people. I just think that a lot of these games need to change the way that they're doing it. Like, why can't a guild just be a party?
I would like to see that happen.
Yeah.
That's something I've been saying for a while.
Yeah, it's actually one of those funny points. I mean, a lot of FPSs as of late have gone sort of the route of putting in MMO aspects in their games, RPG aspects in their games to sort of continue to get retention, obviously. So, I mean, it seems like a lot of MMO aspects are a lot of what originally was meant as what an MMO is, are currently being sort of picked and prodded and pulled away from that and injected into other games that normally wouldn't have seen them. And it seems like everything lately is becoming more of an MMO than I think people realize.
Totally. I was just talking about that the other day.
All right, guys. Well, I've had you on long time. You get special treatment. And I've got somebody who looks like Jordy on their Skype message. Oh, and he just canceled out. Yeah. Oh, and he just came back because he saw me mention that at Jordy.
Wait, hang up on us. He's way more important.
Yeah. So, thanks for calling, guys. I appreciate it. Good talking to you.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Later.
Good talking to you.
All right, guys. We're just we're doing the radio show here. The other 4 sites are running. Giant Bomb's still being obstinate. So hopefully just a couple more hours on that. We're doing the radio show, just killing time. We're gonna pick up here on a Skype friend that has a picture that looks like Jordy. All right, here we go. You are on the air, my friend.
Hey, man. How's it going?
See, I should do this more often because you knew I was calling.
Yeah, the heads up is a lot better than just being surprised.
So are you a big Star Trek fan?
Yeah, I am. I was raised on Star Trek.
Yeah, which is your favorite series?
Probably Next Generation.
Really? See, everybody tells me Next Gen. I'm a Deep Space Nine fan.
That's fair. I like Deep Space Nine a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, I like TNG, but DS9 was I always like the story type stuff. Like I watch most of my TV in marathon sessions, so in that way, Deep Space Nine was always my go-to.
Yeah, and that epic whole last season that had that huge battle and stuff.
Yeah, it had a lot of fun. I mean, usual Star Trek problem where you have to sit through like 2 seasons of shit, to get to it, but always fun.
Yeah, I actually have the opinion that Voyager wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't think Voyager was horrible. And I don't think Voyager. A lot of people say like when Jerry Ryan came on and stuff that the show got kind of crazy, but I think it at least had a really really cool premise.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
Opened it up a lot. It's just a little spotty. I think that's the only problem I'd have with it.
Yeah, but hey, it had Q. You can't really complain about it too much.
Yeah. So you got any questions?
Yeah, sure. I'm a huge PC gamer.
Yeah?
I always have been, even though I have a PS3 and Wii and all that stuff.
Sure.
But did you ever do the clan stuff?
Oh, yeah. I was actually, back in the day, I used to play Quake 2 Rocket Arena really heavily.
Oh, yeah.
People that remember that stuff, Rocket Arena was basically just a mod that was off of Quake 2. There had been a mod for Quake. There was a mod, for it for Quake 3. But the Quake 2 days, which was like 99, I'd say.
Yeah.
I used to play fairly heavily in a clan called, you'll appreciate this, the Borg Collective.
I think I actually remember seeing that one.
Yeah, we actually had Borg-collective.com, and we used to play in whatever the tournament bracket back in those days was. I think it was called like the OGL.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, we were ranked fairly high. I think we were like the number 2 team in the country. And we would play, just online. We had our own server, but we definitely had our ringers. I was, decent in the game, but I was probably, it was mostly 4-on-4 matches. I was probably maybe, let's say, like our 6th dude. So a lot of times I was mostly just maintaining the website and, keeping everybody active, managing all the practice matches and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, dude, I was fairly heavily into that kind of stuff at a certain point.
Oh, that's rad. I played. Sorry, I played in a clan for Quake 2 as well. It was called NWO New World Order.
Yeah, because you were a WWF fan.
Actually, no.
Really?
No, I got directly related to some other games later too. But we were really weird because we were mostly a local clan, and we played out of our middle school.
What does that mean? Like you guys would have LAN
junior
parties?
High. Yeah, like our junior high had this really good internet connection for whatever, and all the computers in our CTS lab, they all had Quake 2 installed, so we just went there and gamed for weekends.
Dude, that's pretty nuts. Did you ever do like like for me, most of the time we do like the traditional, which I think is sort of a dying thing these days, but you do, physical LAN parties. Everybody would just bring their giant computers over in their mom's car, and you'd go over somebody's house and, go to their basement and just link up your systems and play, Duke Nukem all day.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I have one of those LAN parties set up for this summer too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they're still happening.
Yeah. I know the one that id runs is still pretty big, but yeah, it's funny that pings kind of stopped. I mean, of course they matter, but like back in the day, I just remember your actual connection was pretty much everything, and if you couldn't get a sub 100 ping, you didn't bother playing. So it's kind of cool that the network stuff has gotten better in games these days. That pretty much anybody can play.
Yeah, you still see people bitching about pings in like Counter-Strike and stuff like that these days, though, and Bad Company 2 and all that on PC.
So what are you still playing on PC?
I've been wanting to play Portal 2 rather, but with the PSN being down, I can't sync up my PlayStation version, so it won't let me play it.
Well, why didn't you buy a PC version?
I already pre-ordered the PS3 version because it came with the free copy.
Oh yeah.
And it came in the mail on Wednesday. And tried logging in Wednesday.
Dude, man,
no luck.
They're crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't give them too much trouble because obviously we've had our own. But they probably have a whole lot more people paying for that service than we do.
Yeah, and I'm still not entirely convinced it's their fault or if it's hackers or
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see in the aftermath. But
Yeah, people had basically been saying that it was anonymous, right?
yeah, I could see that
Mhm.
easily. I could see it kind of being like a splinter group that came off from Anonymous and decided, oh yeah,
Sure.
GeoHot, blah, 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 mob mentality.
Yeah.
But no, in the meantime, I've just been brushing up on games I hadn't finished in the past, like Darksiders.
Dude, Darksiders is a great game. I really
Yeah.
love that one. Like, I know we talked a lot about it last year, but I think that was kind of the hidden gem game from last year.
Yeah, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not horribly far into it, but I'm totally enjoying it.
Are you
Actually,
are you playing it
sorry.
on PS3 or are you playing it on PC?
PC? I'm going through all my Steam stuff that I got from sales.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's one I had installed but never touched.
Yeah, the one I bought that I haven't touched is that Ghostbusters game. Not the recent
yeah.
one, but the one from like 2
The
years
Sanctum
ago.
of Slime. Oh no, that one.
Yeah. And
Right.
I was always a Ghostbusters fan, but that game kind of got middling reviews, so I kind of missed it. But definitely something to see.
Yeah, I've also been doing Return to Castle Wolfenstein,
Oh wait, not the original. The
the one that was based off of the Quake 3 engine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it was weird, the multiplayer game that came off that was a huge online game, and I never really understood it. I mean, it was class-based multiplayer, but I think it was mostly just because they ended up making it free that it got such a big audience. But for a couple of years there, that was a huge game.
Oh, absolutely. I remember that being huge around the time of like Star Wars, Jedi Knight 2, Star Trek Voyager, Elite Force, Quake 3,
Dude,
all that kind of stuff.
Those old Star Trek games, like all these old Raven things. I wish that company. I'm guessing that Singularity. And again, this is totally a guess, but I'm guessing that Singularity didn't do the kind of numbers that a much bigger franchise would do, and it's kind of fun because Raven always puts out like pretty polished stuff. They did those old Elite Force games, and they were great. Like if you if you liked Voyager and you liked Star Trek, those were at the time some of the better Star Trek games coming out.
Yeah, and the multiplayer on that was great. I played in clans for those games too. They were super fun, great communities. They're actually, sorry.
No,
They're
don't worry
actually-
about it. Keep going.
They're actually still around.
Yeah.
I started up Elite Force the other day, and there's still some servers going around.
Dude, that's wild. I remember there was also a DS9 like tactical game, like a tactical strategy game. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, I can't remember the name. I know there was around that time Away Team came out.
Yeah.
Which was the really crappy RTS game.
Yeah. But there was a good one I think for DS9 that was pretty fun. But
was that The Fallen or Dominion Wars?
I can't remember.
Because I played Dominion Wars, and I remember people talking about The Fallen because they were released around the same time.
Yeah, it's funny with Star Trek games. There really hasn't been much other than the MMO game in the past couple years. But Star Trek in general, with no real show, has kind of been in trouble as well.
Yeah, for sure.
What did you think of the movie?
I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters twice, and it was good.
Yeah, I need a fix. Like I need a show though. Just something that I can daily tune into that gets my Star Trek fix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna pick up some other people here, but always love to talk Star Trek. Huge
Awesome.
nerd. for
Sounds
that stuff.
wonderful.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, have a good afternoon.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Again, sights down. We're still doing this stuff. I'm actually starting to get pretty tired at this point. It's kind of funny. But I'm going to look at this TriCaster, take a break. Let me see if I can get you guys a new loop. We'll see if we get some in there, and then we'll take another call. So just hold tight. I'm just going to walk over here for a second, maybe go get some water. All right, guys. Sorry about that dead air for a bit. I went raided the fridge. It's amazing what's in the fridge at Whiskey Media. Just random stuff. I also found some cookies that expired 2 days ago, which I don't know. Not too concerned about. What did I actually put on here? Apparently, I just put on Ryan and Jeff and Norm, and I'm kind of talking over them. So I picked the longest clip that was in there, which it looked like it was 3 minutes or so. I figured that'd be better than the endless loop of Mortal Kombat. So again, sights are down, or at least actually at this point it's just sight, just Giant Bomb's down. We're just taking calls in the meantime, having fun. So let's grab some more calls. Hello, sir. You are on the air.
Oh, hey, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. What's up?
Oh, this is crazy. I really wasn't actually expecting to get through.
Well, you got through now, and I just got back, so
That's very cool. Yeah.
You better have something important to say.
Oh, I don't know. What are you eating?
What am I? I'm eating. I got these cookies here. Here, watch. You can listen to them. Well, Joey's dog just walked in, and I'm scared about him. He's a big pit bull. He's giant.
The cookies sound delicious.
Yeah, I know. I think he wants some.
So I'm calling in from Germany, and I'm wondering, am I the first one calling from Germany or.
You know, we've had people call from Germany before, probably not in the in the last couple days, but we've definitely had we definitely have German fans. It's not as big as a lot of the other European countries, but I think that's because you guys already have such a good gaming press there already.
Yeah, I guess compared to the other European countries, yeah, I wouldn't really call it good, but that's just because I like the American sites are so much better.
Yeah, but PC games are still, pretty big thing in Germany, you'd say, right? Oh, sorry, Skype quit out. Again, this happens sometimes. I'm just gonna load it back up. We'll try and get you back on as I load it back up. In the meantime, I'm just gonna sit, jam on this cookie, which expiration date a couple days ago. It still seems fine to me. Hopefully Joey's dog doesn't attack me. He looks big and scary, but hopefully he'll be fine. Anyways, Skype just takes about 15 seconds to load back up, and we'll get it going. Meanwhile, let's take a question. Anybody got any questions in the chat, the actual chat? Hopefully we'll get it in here. Who's in the office? People are asking who's in the office. It's at the moment the only people that I've seen have been Joey's been in here, Daniel was in here for a bit. Almost everybody's home. The only person Andy and our engineers are basically feverishly working getting the sites back running, but it's really out of their hands at this point. They just wait for servers to pop up. In any case, let's hope we can get our buddy back. Here he is. Hey, Duder.
Hey.
Sorry
back,
about
right?
that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I imagine you're getting like 1,500 calls at the same time. Something has to mess up.
Yeah, it kind of happens.
Right. So PC games, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Germany, there's this really strong culture around building your own PC and stuff like that, and I get the idea that it's really a lot stronger than in the US.
Yeah, it's kind of died out here. You guys also have series that, your own worlds that don't make it, as far, outside of Germany. Like I know the Drakensang stuff is pretty big over there. There's the Settlers games are huge over there. The Anno games are really big. I really liked the last Anno. I think they called it like Dawn of Discovery or something over here. But I always the craft in those games. That's one thing that I normally always see with German games is at least the strategy ones. They're always like super, super polished and have like these really great UIs.
I've never actually played the Anno series, but I've seen the trailer for the new one, the futuristic one. Have you seen that?
No, I didn't even know they were making a new one. What's it look like?
Yeah, so it's like I don't know the year number that's on it, but it's like 100 years in the future or so, and it looks really cool. I'm usually not interested in like the historic stuff, but the futuristic stuff looks interesting. Yeah, looks like something new.
For people that don't know about the Anno games, basically it's kind of something like SimCity, except it's more, I'd almost say like an economic simulator more than anything else. Like you're planning out these these resource grids, and then trying to make sure, for example, that you have enough hemp, so then you can make clothes, and then once you get certain amounts of luxury resources, higher a more higher class will start developing in the game. They're pretty fun. It's kind of that Civ stuff where you'll just sit there and jam on it forever.
Right. Yeah. I'll probably build a new PC this year because my current PC is like 6 years old, and I'll probably check out the new Anno then.
But what do you need? What do you even need a good PC for these days? Like, there's not much that needs even tests at these. At least I've seen.
Oh, that's true, but so I got Portal 2 on PS3, and it's good. It's totally playable, but I really would much rather play that on a PC, and sometimes it's just a better experience, No,
I agree with you. Especially, and sorry as I jam on this cookie, but It's kind of I always prefer. I have a hard time playing FPS games with controllers. I mean, I can definitely do it, and
Right.
I like playing the Killzone games and stuff like that. But I just prefer using a mouse and keyboard when I can.
Right. Yeah, I've kind of gotten used to the controller like over the years, and my PC has been too old now, but I think mouse and keyboard is still usually better. So I have this big list of PC games that I'm waiting to play, and I can't currently play because they won't run. And it's like 20 games I got queued up, so to say. It's gotta be cool.
Yeah. So, do you have any general questions that you had, as we've just been randomly talking about PC games?
Yeah, yeah. So I was wondering, with the Amazon thing, are you guys gonna change anything about your like back end as a consequence out of this thing, or are you basically relying on Amazon to fix their stuff so that this could never happen again, or what are the consequences you're getting from this?
Well, the big thing that, for us, will we change stuff? Yes. Pretty much obviously. Will we move off Amazon? I would probably say very, very doubtful. Like,
Right.
They've been super, super reliable most of the time. This is the first time that they've ever had anything close to this. I mean,
Right.
normally when, we have downtime from time to time, but, when you see it normally on the site, you get to the site and it's like a 502 gateway or something like that. That's normally us. That's not like them. This is pretty much the first time that there's been something significant with them that's preventing us, from doing this. And, could we have spent a whole lot more time, building in redundancy to do this kind of stuff? I think, probably definitely. It's more like what's the cost to us to do something like that? It takes a lot of engineering time, and when we're doing like those high level ops, projects, it means that we're not building site facing features that you guys can use and
Right.
that the editors use and can do. So we will definitely build probably a little bit more redundancy so that we don't have these critical problems,
Right.
and we can switch off stuff. But I don't think with a team of our size that we could necessarily expect to always have 100% uptime. It's just kind of nature of the business. You're working with a bunch of it's like Vinny here. He was kind of laughing a couple weeks ago. He was talking about he runs all these wires back and forth all day, and just 2 days in a row, like just this one wire just broke, and
Right, yeah.
what can you do? You have to run to the store and get another wire, or hope you can fix stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, right.
do you do web stuff yourself?
No, I really don't. I really don't. I wish I would be able to. I wish I had the skills to like make websites and other stuff. Maybe someday. We'll see.
All right. Well, dude, thanks for calling in. I'm glad we got German fans there, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool. We're getting people from all over today.
Yeah. Great. So thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Thank you, dude.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. All right, guys. I will. I've seen some requests to look on this TriCaster, see if there's anything in there. I'm gonna go give it a look and hope Joey's dog doesn't eat me. You got anything fun we could throw on this thing, just in the background? There's nothing really in here. I just didn't know if you can pull it in from something else.
Yeah, I can move something.
Just anything. They're just tired of seeing loops. Joey is manning the boards now, and it's gonna give us something fun to see in that background. Meanwhile, we're just taking calls while we wait for Giant Bomb to come back up. I'm gonna take one of these calls right now. Hello there, you are on the air.
Dave.
Yeah, that's who I am, man. Who's this?
Hey, man. This is, I don't know, you want my real name or my...
Dude, you can be whoever you want. It's the internet, man.
My name is Micah. I'm a longtime fan of the site, man.
Cool, that's awesome, dude. And you're just calling in, just sitting around on Saturday in your jammies, being like, "Oh, what's going on?"
What is going on, man? I'm doing a bunch of stuff on my computer. I just figured out how to use Handbrake properly, so now I'm converting a bunch of.
You use your real name, man. Don't say that. You're not. You're not
You can't
using
use
Handbrake.
Handbrake's not real. Like if I own files digitally.
I don't know how
I can't
it
do that.
works. I have no idea how it works. What are you
See,
setting up, like a
now if I were
boxy
to
box
admit
or
it, I'd have a
something?
problem. What?
Are you setting up like a boxy box or something?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to convert files for iPads. I go on a lot of business trips. So I got a bunch of old DivX movies that I ripped from DVDs.
Do you have one of the new ones, or is it the last model?
Well, no, I got the last model.
Yeah. Oh, they're pretty much the
Yep.
same.
So it's what was that?
I said they seem to be pretty much the same these days. I mean, like
Yeah,
the new one's
I know.
slimmer, maybe a little faster, but
Yeah, I saw Norm's really going back and forth on it, but they steered me straight. I was going to pick up a new one, but
yeah.
I don't have the fanboy need that Gary does, so I think I'm good to go for now with my first gen model.
Yeah. So you got a question for us today?
Yeah, I was wondering. I've been watching. I've been watching Tested kind of do the catch up now that the site's back up. They've been dumping a bunch of content on. Are you guys planning on doing the same thing for Giant Bomb?
You know, I don't know. Everybody's kind of dealing with it however they have. I know that Tested relies, a lot more on outside writers, that aren't in the building. So Giant Bomb's mostly in-house. So, where the Tested guys had guys still doing stuff, we've been doing a lot more video content, over the last couple days. So, Giant Bomb was, in front of a camera most of the time. So,
But are you going to dump all the archive stuff from Justin TV on the site?
well, that it's there. I know that they'll definitely do probably that scrub match thing and definitely the happy hour, and we'll get that stuff up. But I think we'll probably just reassess Monday and then see, what's worthwhile to bring up.
Yeah.
But it always lives there on Justin TV for the most part. I mean, we probably have TNT and stuff. I forgot we've been down that long, but TNT will probably go up as well.
Well, no, I mean, from what I heard, I wasn't able to catch some of the stuff that first morning, but I know that they were doing some quick looks, and there was a bunch of other stuff that they ran out while you guys were trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, Joey was here shooting some screen stuff, so I'm sure stuff will get back to normal starting Monday.
Right on, man. Well, I just thought you needed another American caller. It sounds like you've been our ambassador for Europe for the past
Yeah, I
2
know.
3 days now.
I'm I don't know, swaying hearts and minds, I guess, or something like that.
You know what? I always figured that the site had a lot of people over there that were down, but I was really impressed, especially yesterday when you were taking calls before the Scrub League. I didn't, it's like what you were saying. I heard maybe 1 or 2 people from the States in like 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, people don't really, they don't believe us, but, half the site is North America, the other half is someplace else. And most of that's, in Europe, but, we never really know. We've had kind of a mix. You get some people that call in and, like we heard that from that guy earlier who's Canadian living in Denmark and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just, transplants, but a lot of times they're just people who they're just hardcore gamers, and they need to get their fix somehow.
Do you think that gaming is, from what that tells me, is that maybe there's just more hardcore gaming going on in Europe, as a whole? Because, I mean, I go around and I talk to people because gaming's my passion, and I've been doing it for, 25 years or however long, and I people kind of look at me funny, like, oh, Pac-Man, huh? Like, oh, Joust, and people don't really get it. Maybe it's different in Europe.
Yeah, no, you're always going to get that stuff. With any subculture type stuff. I think it's been getting better over the years, obviously. But there's always going to be that sort of, oh, well, you're, a geek or something like that. I know I just started dating this girl a little, while ago, and, she basically has no idea about, video games or anything like that. And, every once will give me shit for like, it's like, oh, you play video games. It's like, I don't think she kind of understands kind of like what my job really, kind of is. So it's always funny.
Well, I've always thought that the guys at Whiskey must have the most understanding ladies possible in the world. You know, you hear the podcast where Vinny talks about these insane amounts of games he's able to fit into a 48-hour period on the weekend, and Brad can run some pretty sick marathons too. And I'm just like, wow, you know, I get 3 or 4 hours to play a new game. You know, I got to work out this time deal with my wife.
Yeah, and
So
we had that kid who was
that,
we had that kid that was calling in today, and his mom was trying to get him to go to dinner. So I think it's probably not just the wives, but probably the moms as well.
it's hard to try to explain that kind of for years I've been trying to explain to people why, games are important to me. And I think the closest I ever got to explaining is, there's guys that have old cars that they work on in their garage, and they got posters up all over the walls and tools, and they do it for hours and hours a day, rebuilding a carburetor or whatever. And that's how they get there. That's how they chill and mellow out. And I just kind of feel the same way about video games.
Yeah, dude. Me too. All right, dude. You got any more questions, or you want me to pick somebody else?
No, that was all my questions. It was great talking to you. Big fan of the sites, and it's the family of sites has really helped me learn a lot more about other geeky stuff. Like I was on Giant Bomb, and then Tested came online. I was all about that. And now I got more into movies and comics as well. So
yeah, we
appreciate
We call it the fist of the geek. It's you got 5 fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb, so we've got most of them covered. But we'll probably do more of them soon.
What are you going to go to? What's Mike going to go to now? Books or tabletop games, or like what's going to be the geeky pinky?
I don't know. I always get that stuff. I was over at PAX when he was announcing all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty normal. That's a business guy's job, is always to push you forward. So. I'm sure we'll be building something new here pretty soon.
Right on. You can always count on my support. Thanks,
all right.
Dave.
Thanks, Duder. See ya.
All right.
All right, guys. Luckily, Joey gave us our good old standby, our $1 million pyramid. We're just killing time while the waiting for Giant Bomb to come back up. If you haven't seen it yet, the other sites have made it up. It looks like the Tested guys are starting to throw some of that back catalog content in. I know all the cats. I looked on Comic Vine really briefly, and those forum battles immediately started back up, so that was really healthy to see. And we're just here taking calls. So we're going to go through here. And sorry if I'm not getting to you. We are getting a ton of calls when they come in, so I'm just kind of picking stuff randomly. I'm trying to get as many different people on here as possible. All right, Duder, you are on the air. Justin, you there, buddy? Justin. I'm going to give you 5 seconds, Justin, to get your mic. Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear the scratch.
Hello.
There you are, Justin. How you doing, buddy? Justin, you there?
Hi, Dave.
Hey, how's it going? What's up?
I've got a suggestion.
Yeah?
You were talking about the site the other day, and
Yeah.
you were wondering about if we had any suggestions for the site.
Sure.
I got one. How about this? When you look at a concept page for a game?
Yeah.
How about having the game lists be able to be sorted by, like, say, release date or, like, alphabetically?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Well, that's pretty good one.
Because whenever I I go to like a headshot page or whatever,
Mhm.
and I want to figure out, okay, what's the first game that introduced the headshot?
Mhm.
Then I could just sort it by the release date. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good. I mean, there's lots of stuff. It's funny, you end up working on, when we start doing these things, it's not necessarily that, that we can't figure out, what to do on. Oh, damn, we lost Skype. But I'll get it back and running here. But I'll answer your question here, sort of while we're waiting. But the tough thing with designing these big sites, especially when we've got like these little small teams, is there's always pages on the sites that don't do something that they should be doing, and it's more a question of time, of like where we spend it. It's not like we don't see a lot of these problems. I know especially a lot of those concept pages, but just kind of stuff with the wiki in we need to be working a little bit better on. And for us, we just we spend our resources in the ways that have the biggest impact. So, the last couple weeks we've been working on a homepage redesign. We changed that header there for a while because that's something that's everywhere. And we kind of go through these things as smart as we can. I think those inner pages, the biggest thing that we have to do is just rebuild the whole wiki system in general. And we see that on not only sorting, but I think that the credit system on Giant Bomb is fairly crappy at the moment. That's probably Jeff's biggest concern. It's definitely the one that he gives me the most shit for. I think our release system, works, but I think it's just not very apparent. It's not very easy to use. So, we're making our way through it. I think the nice thing that we've kind of decided this year is that we're not necessarily building new stuff this year, at least in terms of the existing sites. We're trying to actively go through existing features and updating them along the way, and just making them better, because a lot of these things exist and they're just frustrating for people to use. So there's no business. We don't have any business going and building new stuff yet until we get a lot of that stuff fixed. But Skype's back on. We're going to start taking calls and keep it going. Hello, Duder. You are on the air.
Oh, hey, Dave. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, man. So this is Nicholas. This is the same guy that called before yesterday from Oakland.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Our Barbados buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And it's been having a crazy morning now.
Why is it crazy?
Well, first I had to get up at 4 in.the morning to take someone to the airport, and then I got back and thought I could get some sleep, and then this accident happened right outside my window, outside my apartment building.
A car accident?
Yeah, a car accident.
Oh.
And I just woke up and looked outside, and this guy was just yelling at this lady, and apparently this lady hit into him, and then she got out of her car, ran to his car, and opened his door, but she just wanted to find out if he was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he started freaking out because he thought she was trying to carjack him or something. I don't know, but it was messed up. It was crazy.
I've had a crazy day too.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, it's actually been pretty good. It's better to report today that we're getting sites up than yesterday when you called.
Oh yeah, it looks like you guys are getting through.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a question for you. On the forum, on video game forums, you see a lot of stuff popping up. A lot of threads get made about piracy and how people feel about piracy.
Sure.
And the last thread I actually clicked on and read was when Dragon Age came out, Dragon Age 2,
sure,
on the BioWare forums. And this kid, I don't know why he did it, but he did it. He posted on the BioWare forum that he didn't have the money to buy Dragon Age 2. So he pirated it, and it just amazes me how everyone just jumped on this kid because that he did the worst thing ever. And I just thought back to my days when I was a kid in Barbados, and you probably don't know, but games are crazy expensive in Barbados too.
Dude, I bet.
Yeah, $100 US or more.
Mm-hmm.
So as a 6-year-old kid, up to maybe when I was 15, or when I moved here, when I was 16, 17, and I'm not gonna. I pirated a few. I've done some stuff. I've and I was saying that I don't think I'd be half the kind of gamer I am today if it wasn't for piracy. If I didn't experience all of those amazing SNES games and stuff like that, I wouldn't be into I probably wouldn't even be into Dragon Age 2, which bought and played and loved.
Mm-hmm.
So many games that I realized I loved because of piracy, and I just don't see the reason why people jump on a kid for doing this sometimes. I just want to know your opinion on.
I don't know, the piracy stuff's always, coming from a PC gaming background, that stuff was always around. Even on the music side. I mean, I can tell you, I don't think I've pirated any games or music or anything like that in probably 10 years. And
Right.
I think that like when people talk about piracy, I think it's more just people talking about being young. Like I think it's you know, when you're a kid or something, I think that stuff didn't bother you as much, you know? Just like
Right.
when you're doing it, it was just kind of normal. It's like, well, I want to play this and I don't have the money, or you know, I can't
Yeah.
figure out a way to do it. And you'd spend all this time. What I remember about, trying to get, pirated games or something like that, it took a lot of time. Like you'd have to be in, back in my day, you'd have to be in weird like FTP groups, or you'd have to be on weird IRC channels, and it was always, and it was easy once you kind of got into it.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of research and stuff to figure that kind of stuff out. And I think as you grow up and you get a job,
Right.
and with the availability of Steam and stuff, it's just become like, why,
Yeah, now I have the money. It's just I'm too lazy to do it. It's just like I can just go and buy it, and
Yeah, it's just
I don't need to.
convenient,
I
and
don't
you-
need to go in these back alleys and do this sort of shady stuff.
Yeah,
for
and
this.
you don't feel bad about it.
Right.
So, I don't know. I guess I don't have like a set opinion. I think, theft is bad.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely, something that's pretty easy that people can say. But I kind of, people are just going to do whatever they want to do. And I don't think that, I don't know. I just don't like have a huge level of opinion out there. I think, dude, if, you got the money, you should be paying for games. And if you don't have the money, then my comment would not be, oh, you should be okay to go, buy games. I'd say, well, you should probably get a job that, so that you have some money so that you could, play a game. You should probably not be playing games so much. You should try and figure out a job.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's tough, like you said, when you're living in weird areas and you have that kind of stuff. And I think that's getting better these days where, everything's moving digitally. So it's kind of nice that you don't necessarily need to go into a store and buy stuff. I think we saw with GameStop buying Impulse, a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that news.
Yeah.
But they're definitely thinking about it too. Like how are we going to be able to compete with all this kind of stuff? And
Yeah, and like I haven't been in a GameStop. I haven't been in a brick and mortar store in almost a year now. It's kind of amazing to me when I really think about it, because I'm getting all my games from Amazon. Amazon's amazing right now.
Mhm.
I don't like they give you money to buy. Like I bought Portal 2 for $35, and I got an extra $20 from them for my next game purchase. It's crazy, and I just don't know why I would go to I just don't want to go, especially GameStop, because I don't like GameStop that much.
they've done and Amazon's done a really good job. I don't know if you've seen their music stuff, but I got off iTunes, years ago, and I'm still really pissed that I bought.
Really?
There was a year where I bought, music off iTunes, and it's kind of locked, and now I have like an
Yeah.
Android phone, and
Yeah.
I can't really use this stuff. And
That's exactly the same thing that happened to me, because I got an iPod like a few years ago, and then I was stuck in iTunes, and then all that music's like just locked up in that. That's one of the reasons I didn't even buy an iPhone. They just lock you off from so much stuff, and I just said I'd go Android, so I have an Android. But also I can root it, and I can do stuff with it, so I can use it in Barbados and stuff like that. So that's also nice. But I love what Steam's doing. I love what Amazon's doing. I just, I hope I never have to go to a brick and mortar store again.
well, yeah, we do have to get outside sometimes, but yeah, I'm with you.
I just don't. I don't want to interact with people to buy, video games. I just want it there. If I want to interact with people, I want to interact with people that I want to interact. But yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I hope your day goes better and you don't have weird people screaming outside your apartment anymore.
Yeah, I just actually made a big ass burger. My day is actually going pretty good now.
Is it a sandwich?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. I just had to clear that up.
Yeah, whatever. It's between. Who cares? Whatever. It tastes good.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for calling in again.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, guys. We're still doing this thing. Man, I hope Andy gets this site running up soon. My guess is it'll probably be, fairly soon, as the other sites have come up pretty quick. We're just taking calls, having fun, just getting stuff going. Let's take another call here. Hello there. You are on the air. You there, buddy? Come on. Come on. Oh, I know this guy's been calling pretty much all day. In fact, though, we're gonna go back to our Russian buddy. Though I saw some notes he had on piracy. Oh, but I think he dropped us out. Zon, give me a call if you're there. Again, guys, we're just kind of doing this radio show just randomly. I am literally I think Joey's the only other person in the office. We're just jamming out here. I am going to take another... Oh, wait, here's a call. Wait, that can't be that call. Hello there. You are on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
Dave, the site is down.
God damn it. Jeff, I'm trying. I can't do anything.
I checked this morning and it wasn't working, and I checked again and it's still it doesn't work.
I know, and I told you like pretty much last night. I'm like, dude, there's no way that it'll still be down in the morning.
Yeah,
and it's
but now
kind of
like every other site is up now. Like screen's back up too, right?
Yeah, all of them except for you.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny. Like, does this make you think? It's like the farther and deeper into Amazon support, they keep saying like, oh, we're getting into this cluster, getting into this cluster, getting into this cluster. And then it's like giant bombs in the farthest end reaches. Like we could be, the origin. We could be where the event started.
Yeah. Like, did we cause all of this stuff with, too many database writes? They realized, they had to back up all these wiki submissions, and then they backed it up everywhere and broke everything.
There was just too much in there. Or we just had, somebody didn't like our name. Yeah, have you been seeing like the weird threads on the site where people have been putting in giantbomb.com and being taken to like NHL.com?
Yeah.
Andy,
what do you think that is? Is that just like DNS hijack, like some kind of?
Yeah, we think it's some weird. You call them man in the middle things, where it's basically that it's nothing on our side, and it is nothing on the person's client side. So it's like it's not like that they have some sort of malware or something like that. It's somewhere in between in the DNS where they're just getting pointed to a different spot. And we can't figure it out. The weird part is, like, normally if you'd have something like that, it would be taking you to, like, Viagra pill websites.
Right.
But it's been completely random. Like, people are getting sent to Paraguay. They're getting sent to NHL. It's just, like, everybody sends us, like, a different message every day that we see it.
I saw someone saying that they got to some site that was just selling UGG boots.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, which I think maybe we should just get into that business and cut out the man in the middle and go direct.
Yeah.
I ended up changing. I mean, well, is there like a good advice for those people? Should they change to like Google's like freely available DNS service?
So that's what like some users were recommending, but we didn't see anybody get any feedback. And of course, remember when people fix things, they don't necessarily come back to forums and
say works fine.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, they fixed it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
It is weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what are you doing today? You besides manning the phones?
So I went out last night with Drew and Alexis and Karen, because Karen was in here, and we ended up getting really horribly drunk.
Yep.
And I woke up at Karen's place this morning, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get my car, because my car was at the office. So then I walked into the office, and I was like, oh man, the sites are still down. Oh, and then I was like, I wonder if I can get this thing running, because we should at least be putting something up. Because I feel bad when it's mostly I just feel bad that it says like enjoy the live stream,
and then that's not even there.
Yeah, exactly. So I just felt like extremely shitty about that, and like I can't really change it, and it's like what would I even change it to? So
enjoy the not live stream.
Yeah, so I figured I could probably just get this thing running again and talk to people. But my voice hurts, Jeff.
Ugh. Yeah, that's the worst. Sometimes I come out of those longer podcasts and with like a pretty bad sore throat. But after a night of hard drinking, it definitely
I was also really worried when I saw you pop up on Skype. I'm like, that can't be Jeff. I was like, that's not going to be Jeff. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to end up walking into here? But luckily it was you.
Yeah, no, I thought about streaming out. I was playing some Mortal Kombat with Will and Gary Whitta and Vinny earlier. And I thought I would like point my laptop at the TV and stream that out for a while, but
you should do that.
Well, it's the
Jeff. You should do that.
I could definitely take over for you for a while or something.
Jeff, you should do that.
But I couldn't do it while I was playing online because the bandwidth situation was already so messed up. Dude, I got to get rid of this DSL.
Yeah, you and me both. And we're probably both paying too much for it too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like we're both paying like $100 for like the best DSL you can get, but it's only, I don't know about you, but I get about 600. That's my limit that I hit.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too, I think. And this ISP that I'm going with, they're local and like they're super good guys.
Yeah.
They've been around forever, and you know they're just like, hey man, we just sell the internet connection. We don't care what you do with it.
Yeah. Do you use Speakeasy?
No, it's Sonic.net.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's the same guys we use. I think The Office is also using them.
Sure.
But whatever. Like they've been around forever. Like they're good people, and I want to support them. And they have faster services, but it's like that situation where I'm 3,000 feet too far away from something and can't get their better stuff. So I'm thinking I might have to. Like the only other option I have is Comcast, and I don't want to do that. But
because didn't they launch like some new thing that they've named? They have like some clever name scheme.
Yeah,
for like,
what is it? It's Xfinity.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they realized that everyone hated the name Comcast so much that they needed to launch some new brand.
But do they still have the caps?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
See, that's the only thing I'd worry about because just the amount of video and Netflix stuff that I watch, I'm sure I could pretty easily kill that.
Yeah, the way I see it is I would sign up for it and just use it as normal, which I don't really go too crazy here at home with bandwidth stuff. So I don't know that I would hit the cap most of the time, but if I did and if they kick me off, then great. Then go back to these guys and that I'm with now and hope that they eventually expand into more parts of my town. It sounds like they're expanding pretty quickly, but just not fast enough. It feels like I'm waiting for the last year for them to get their faster service going.
Yeah, I think I'm more bummed too because I'm paying so much for it.
Like
yeah, $100 is a lot to spend.
$100 is a lot of money. Like that's how much I would look to pay for like their 50 megabit connection or something. But like I'm paying like 70 a month and getting, maybe like not even 10 megabits. So I hate the internet, man. Why has it got to be like this?
I don't know. I want the internet to be over. Let's go back to BBS.
Totally. I've been wanting to set up a BBS or at least for a while I wanted to set up like a telnetable BBS, but I couldn't even get that going. So I was like, man, let's just go buy a modem and we should do this.
Well, we're back to our IRC with all the developers now that we've got everybody, out of the office.
Yeah.
We've been hardcore IRC users again. And so we have all these little bots and stuff that run everything. It's been pretty fun.
I want to hang out in your IRC channel. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, talk with the Czech guys. It's kind of funny because like when there's that flip over time for us when it goes to nighttime and they just start talking in Czech. And it's just you'll wake up in the morning and just see like all this Czech. You're like, what?
Oh God, what are they talking about?
And you heard about that one time where Hansa was doing a live stream here for some meetup group in Czech.
I watched it.
Yeah. He did it on our feed, of course, on Giant Bomb, and everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? And so I talked to a couple of the other guys that, were in Czech at the time and were watching it, and they were like, yeah, as much as, Hansa seemed into it, none of us were paying attention to anything he was saying, and we're just like reading all the hilarious comments in the chat. Because it was just like all our users just being like so confused, like, what the fuck is this?
Well, if we can't confuse people from time to time, I feel like we're not doing our jobs.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? How are you taking this over from me? That's the good question.
Well, let's see. I guess I could take this laptop and point it at my TV and play some more
Mega Man 9.
Yes, play some Mega Man 9.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I could play some MK. I'd probably just play offline because I don't know that I can do both.
While you're here, do you want to? We'll randomly take some calls here.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll add them in. Yeah, I think I can add them in. Hold on, we're gonna get our Russian friend here in again, Zon. Zon, you there?
Whoa.
Yeah. You there, Zon?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw you wanted to talk about piracy with us. You got Jeff online too.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Amazing. Having Jeff, Dave, like, it's my dream. Okay. One thing, it all got kind of sidetracked, but I wanted to tell how exactly piracy can be an amazing thing, but like 10 years ago, maybe 12. Okay, here the first official console that was officially brought here by a company was a PlayStation 2. Before that, all of the consoles all of the consoles and pretty much software was made by either Chinese people. No, Chinese. It's implied that they were Chinese. I'm sorry. Well, the first big thing that appeared here was Dendy. It was a knockoff of Famicom. Pretty much it looked like it with a little elephant dude in a shirt and shorts, and it ran pretty much all of the Famicom games. But because of that, there were some franchises that never made it to Russia, like Mega Man, Castlevania. Most of the Capcom stuff for some reason. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, Genesis was a big thing here also, but never the Super Nintendo, and never как его? I'm sorry, never Nintendo 64. When the cartridges were too expensive to copy, all the pirate things went for the cheaper ones, obviously.
So are you basically saying that, for you, like, piracy was good because you had like no option to play any of these games, and at least
it's like the only way you can play anything. Yeah.
Exactly. And the only licensed games were those by 1S, 1C, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and all those. But the strangest thing, there were never jewel-cased PC games, licensed PC games. All of those that were brought over here were those big boxed with a T-shirt inside or something. But those costed like a month's salary. It's, and it was in 1999 when it shouldn't have been that much of a problem. Imagine it was imagine if $60 that were pretty much oh my god, it's pretty much okay. If $60 were good enough to live for a month, maybe a month and a half.
Sure.
Yeah.
You just couldn't afford it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But because of that, I was exposed to a lot of pirated games, and without internet, it was only pirated. Pirated copy.
Yeah, PC games and stuff. Now, in Russia, don't you guys have where when the games get pirated, a lot of times you'll get fans that will do, brand new voiceover and sort of actually mod the games as well?
Well, that's the pretty much strangest thing because there were no online communities because there was pretty much no online. But some of those pirate companies, especially Fargus, there was a fish like a fish with a crown on it. They made some amazing localizations, like for the PC version of Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
There were all of the voices were voiced like by different people this is a crazy thing because even some of the official movies were with pretty limited cast, like one woman and one man. One woman were. Commando series was always translated. So Fallout, and that is even crazier because Fallout 2 was later officially brought over here by 1S, 1C.
Yeah.
And it actually had the same translation that was made by the Fargus or Platinum. I don't know. I don't remember it. But they actually used it. It was pretty amazing. But usually it was like wrong translations and bad stuff. Like the KOTOR 2 was one of the worst translations ever because they literally took all of the game text and put it into an automatic translator.
Oh wow!
It was pretty much English, Japanese through Bubblefish into English, and this it was exactly the same thing. Like my food favorite is something midichlorians. I don't know.
All right, Don, dude. Thanks for calling in again. We always appreciate the fun that you bring.
I'm really sorry for calling like 3 times in 2 days.
Oh, dude, it's always fun. I pick you up. It's always good to get a different perspective on stuff. But I'm going to get somebody else online here.
Yes.
All right.
It's Zaktakovich on the forums, by the way, if you see it anywhere.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
All right, Jeff. You want to get somebody else?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I went and did a chaired or moderated a panel a long time ago about piracy and hacking, and like the guy that wrote the book about hacking the Xbox was on it, and then someone from Insomniac was on it, and he claimed that 90% of all piracy was done specifically by like Russian mafia, like crime syndicates were involved in it because they had like a huge stranglehold on selling games in their region, so it was in their best interest to hack stuff first and be able to sell it to like their kind of captive audience. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can remember definitely with some PC games there were stories of especially with some of those those weirder Russian games where you'd have the weird piracy groups that would be such big fans of the game that they then go and do a lot of the voiceover stuff when they'd bring it over. And so, I think I remember some story where somebody they actually ended up just going to that group and just licensing it from them. Just being like, we'll just use it.
You already did all the work. Like, let's just do it and, make it legal.
Sure. All right. Well, let's we'll pick up another call on here. Hello, sir. You are on the air. You there, Colin?
Hello.
Hey, Colin. You're here with Dave and Jeff. What's up?
Sorry, just completely threw me off because I'm sort of listening to this at the same time.
Yeah,
sorry.
I bet.
What's happening?
Well, not too much. We're just killing time. You notice this website's down.
Yeah, Dave, you might want to get on that, man.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. yeah. Something.
So I had a quick question for you, actually. You're big in the computer games and everything.
Well, I am.
I'm wondering what you think of the current state of computer gamers.
Just the crowd in general?
Yeah, it's maybe I'm hanging out in the wrong places, but it just seems to me that they're getting crazier.
What? Just games? The actual the actual gamers themselves?
Yeah, it's just you're getting all these people and they're hanging out together and everything, and that's cool. But it seems like it goes into more of a
sort of culty
consoles
thing.
are ruining gaming.
Well, I think what's happening with PC gaming in general is it's becoming a pretty old graybeard audience.
Mm-hmm.
You have that happen with lots of stuff. Obviously, D&D's kind of become that way. There's not really a new D&D audience as much anymore. It's mostly just sort of old people sort of carrying the torch for it. And I think in some way PC gamers are like that. You've got some people moving to it, but the vast majority of stuff is made for consoles these days. And when we were talking there with with Matt Pasquale there. I think sometimes when you get really heavy into stuff, you can just get a little too nostalgic about it, and I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, I miss it. It's not so much that I miss PC gaming. I just miss certain genres of games. Like specifically, I miss the turn-based strategy stuff and a lot of the party-based gaming. But I really think a lot of those types of games will just come back through more independent channels over the years, just because it's a lot easier to make and distribute a game these days.
The Russians.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. As long as those guys are making weird and different games, and the it just becomes cheaper. So that kind of stuff. I agree with you. I think PC gamers tend to be a little angrier bunch, but it's just natural. Like that's just what's going to happen. Wouldn't you say that, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of the business is changing, and some people. I mean, we all know. Anytime we change anything on this website, you get some number of people that flip out about it. It's people fear change, and people don't like it when the things that they're used to enjoying a certain way are not available in the same way, or going out of style or whatever, and you get a lot of people that get really indignant about that. It's just kind of the way of things, and it's people will eventually adapt, or if there are enough of them, some other smaller corporation will come along and cater specifically to that audience. So you see those kind of more independent PC gaming rising more and more.
Well, like the thing that really blew my mind was all the BioWare backlash from Dragon Age 2. Like I understand not being a huge fan of Dragon Age 2, but just pointing the finger at the company and saying that you're what's wrong with everything now is just it was really weird.
Yeah, I mean, but look at the sales of Dragon Age 1. The console version outsold the PC version by a wide margin. On paper, if you look at it as a cold hard business, which is what a company like Electronic Arts is really good at, you're going to make that same call to try and cater to where the people are. If more PC players had showed up and purchased the PC version of the game, then I think things would have worked out differently. But at some point, you just have to wonder, like, is that audience big enough to ever even do that ever again? Yeah, in that sense, in kind of like I said, in the kind of the cold businessy sense, you kind of can't blame them for catering to the largest segment of their audience.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And like I said, it gets filled in other sectors. For what's a small audience to EA is going to be a bigger audience to the developer in Poland that's making The Witcher 2. So it's just an economics thing, and I think people get a little too bent out of shape on it.
People take it a little too personally. That's and on one hand, that's a good thing. It's great that people are so invested in the games that they care about, but it can backfire when the business turns on you.
Well, the other thing about the BioWare situation has been all their DLC. A lot of people are really upset about the current state of DLC, but at the same time, I remember DLC, like when they first announced it for Xbox Live, it kind of has sort of started to become kind of what I was looking forward to, like especially with fighting games. Like I remember when Xbox, they first started to announce that they'll do DLC, they were talking about, I was thinking to myself, whoa, like new costumes for characters would be kind of cool. It's a stupid thing to drop like, $5 for 3 characters, but that's my stupid decision, and that sounds like it'd be kind of fun. Like Ken can look like a cowboy.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah, I think DLC is pretty cool. The thing that people need to really consider when it comes to DLC, and the thing people should be looking at is, does the game as they sell it out of the box feel complete? And I think, by and large, most of the time it does. It's the DLC should be optional stuff on top of it, and not stuff that's being pulled or held back from the main game. And I think
exactly.
I think a lot of developers have done a good job of maintaining that. Like they're not shipping games that are half finished most of the time and then asking you to pay to fix them or pay to add the stuff that would have been in the box 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's paying $5 for like a 101 kilobyte file. That's just ridiculous. But 2 years down the line, buying a new costume for Striker, I will be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, and the DLC on the disc stuff is not it's not the end of the world the way some people make it out to be, especially in this kind of fighting game costume sort of situation, because you have to get that data out to everyone, so that the people who don't own the DLC can still see when people are using those costumes. And it's why you have that situation where sometimes they put out free patches that'll add the costumes for the people that haven't bought them, so they can still see them. But patching a game costs money too. So all those people downloading it for free eats into the publisher's bottom line there too. So it ends up being this weird balance of like, well, do you do all the work up front and have a separate team doing it? It's not that it's taking away from the existing game. It's that it's just work that's being kind of done at a different pace than it would have been normally. I don't know. It's some people do get abusive with it. I think EA selling cheat codes is pretty gross.
Yeah, that's kind of
like selling all the unlocks for Shift 2 and the golf games and stuff like that is pretty gross.
A friend of mine got me into that Tales of Vesperia game, the RPG.
Yeah.
And it's like 200 points. Your character goes up 5 levels.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's just weird.
It's especially terrible when you think back, 5 or 10 years and think about like websites devoted to video game cheats. Like those used to be huge. There were like $1 million deals being done to purchase sites devoted to cheats because that was so big. And now like that whole market's just kind of gone because most games don't have cheats in them anymore.
Yeah.
Because anytime there is something weird and cool like that, they're selling it to you, whether it's like the sandbox mode in Crackdown or like, yeah, just increasing your level or unlocking extra golf balls or whatever you do in Tiger. And that I'm sad about that. That's cheat codes were fun, and it's too bad that they don't exist in the same way.
Didn't we talk to Rory a little bit? Sorry to bring this up, but didn't we talk to Rory and him saying that he like would find a lot of the cheats? And like I think I remember that blowing my mind. Meaning like I just thought that they were something that were published out by the publishers a lot of times. And he was saying like when he was doing a lot of those strategy guides, like back in the early days, even pre-GameSpot days, he was just like finding them.
That sounds crazy. I've found 2 cheat codes in my days, and they were the 2 easiest ones in the world. It was the continue code for Ikari Warriors for the NES, and there was a secret menu in the game Transbot for the Master System, where all you had to do was hold down any button while you were turning on the system.
Hey, Jeff, I've got good news.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just got a text from Mr. McCurdy. He says GB is about to come back up. He says the DB looks good. We just got to fix one thing real quick.
GBDB, I like it.
The good news for you is that you're not going to have to turn your laptop around, I don't think.
That's awesome. Instead, I'll put up all these trailers that I uploaded on Wednesday.
Oh, did you put them on the actual... You just did them through the FTP?
Well, all of our encoder stuff seemed to be up and operational.
Yeah, the Zencoder guys got back up yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So I think I have a Witcher movie that's already through the system that I'll be able to put up that is subtitled as just a bunch of dudes sitting in dark rooms talking about The Witcher.
Great. That sounds exactly like what I want.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we answered all your questions there, Colin.
You did.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for calling in and sticking with us over this time.
Hey, no problem, man. It's been a blast these 2 days.
All right. So, guys, again, just got that text from McCurdy. Maybe we'll give him a call here in a second when he flips the switch. That might actually be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find him in this Skype thing. I'm sure he's just sitting at his computer. Jeff, you should just ramble on.
Okay.
It's monologue time.
Well, let's see. Geez. Trying to think what we've got that's already kind of through the system that we'll be able to put up. It's probably stuff that, if people have been going elsewhere for video game movies, they've probably already seen. But I've got a Witcher 2 trailer, or it's like I said, it's the video of dudes talking about The Witcher with subtitles. And then a trailer for Mega Man Legends 3 prototype version, which they announced while everything was broken. And that is the first announced game for the Nintendo eShop for the Nintendo 3DS.
Uh-oh, big news then.
Which is very exciting. So I'm actually going to go... I don't know that we have one already. As soon as we get back up, I'm going to create a platform for 3DSware, and then we'll be able to have that game page on the site and all that stuff.
Oh, big important news.
Yeah, pretty much the top flight, primo A-list stuff is what I'm going to get to as soon as we get back up.
So what do you think about all the PlayStation stuff? Like, have you heard any news? Have you heard anything weird?
So yesterday they said they confirmed that it was down due to an external intrusion, and that they took the servers down to conduct a thorough investigation of what the hell is going on. So that sounds really terrifying, and the sort of thing that if you have to take the whole thing down to figure out what's going on, that maybe they got access to some data that you're really scared to get out there, like credit cards or something. Like,
yeah, dude, of course.
Not to start rumors, but that's their statement. And when we look at this length of downtime that they have on such a huge week for releases, relatively huge for April, certainly, it had to be pretty serious for them to be willing to go through what's kind of turned into kind of a public relations nightmare. I mean, the Amazon thing is great for them because it gives them some kind of cover, because it's like, oh God, the whole internet's broken, and people are kind of not digging into it. But the statement from them, haunting. I don't know. Like it's a little crazy. I'm actually going to pull up their blog real quick and get the statement. Yeah, an external intrusion on our system has affected our PlayStation Network and Curiosity services. In order to conduct a thorough investigation and to verify the smooth and secure operation of our network services going forward, we turned off PlayStation Network and Curiosity services on the evening of Wednesday, April 20th. Blah, blah, blah. We're doing all we can to resolve the situation quickly. Yeah, so external intrusion and taking it down to look into that is pretty crazy. I don't know how this is going to end up going for them, or if they'll just turn it back on and go, nope, everything's fine. But it's one of those things that with the PlayStation 3 being, it's one of those things that.
Sorry, that was Andy. I threw Andy in there. Andy, turn your computer down.
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry, that was Andy. I threw Andy. Andy, turn your computer down.
I remember this.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No problem. We were just talking about the Sony stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm listening.
Yeah. So what's the scoop with the servers?
The database is back up, and we are starting to bring up the web boxes right now.
So you're doing this live as we're talking to you?
I am, yes.
It's pretty exciting. We can even hear the keystrokes as they happen. Oh, it's going to be, I'm almost a little sad, Jeff, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I started thinking yesterday that maybe we should maybe this is something we should just kind of do on our own at some point. And well, I think your homepage redesign seems even smarter now, and now that we've kind of seen how people tune into these live streams when they're kind of on every page.
Yeah, like it just shows up. Like yesterday, we had 10,000 people in there watching that stuff.
Yeah,
I think the Mortal Kombat Scrub League thing you guys did yesterday was one of the best things we've done. Like,
it was super fun.
Yeah, it came out well. Like everybody here was really excited. I think everybody that was watching it was having fun, and the production value of it was actually kind of pretty good for us.
Yeah, and that was kind of I don't want to say thrown together, but it definitely wasn't. We didn't sit on it and plan it out, and it's weird. It's like we've been doing the big live show live for the past 2 days, but with no plan.
Yeah,
and it's been kind of exhausting and to kind of scramble and figure that stuff out. But I think it's definitely taught us a lot about things that we can do kind of going forward. And I think that it'd be really cool. Like what if just for a few days every year we shut the site off.
And I wouldn't shut the site off, but I'd definitely put we could just do all of our content be live content. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing that's gonna mess up search stuff any more than it will be already. But what if we did just do a multi-day sort of live stream festival sort of thing?
Festival?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, man. We totally will. People be selling brownies outside.
Yes, we want to put on the Bonnaroo video game website live streams.
Yeah.
But But I guess like it's one of those things that if you really start to plan for it, then it becomes like a completely different thing. Because if you told me like, hey, let's just do a 2-day live stream, then I would start looking for guests and calling up people and saying like, hey, bring in some unreleased games and do all this stuff. But like, I feel like the fun of the last couple of days has just been like, okay, we've got what we've got. We're going to fill this time. What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of putting on a show on our own without all the planning that normally goes into that sort of stuff. That's been really fun.
McCurdy, what are you doing over there, tapping away?
I am replacing the homepage right now.
Aw. So you've got the sites up. You just haven't pointed the URLs, or is it just the homepage that's down? Is the rest of the site up?
No, it's still everything.
Oh. Live programming, guys. This is what it's like to sit over the shoulder of Andy McCurdy, which happens all the time. Normally, we actually throw up meatloaf when something like this happens.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Too bad. But yeah, Jeff, I'm with you, man. Like, it's tough. Like, because if we did schedule it, then it would become like a big thing.
Yeah.
And the question is,
like, it becomes professional in a different way.
Yeah,
I guess.
Do you think you do something like that during a busy week or during like dead time?
Ideally, you do it during dead time because then it wouldn't necessarily take away from what you would be doing normally, like reviews and previews and events and all that other stuff. But I don't know. There's something to be said for just saying like, whatever, man. Like, yeah, we could go out to interview these people, but it's way more important for us to just be here doing our thing. And I think that it's easy for me to really want to bias in favor of making sure that we're covering the traditional stuff. But I guess I feel like I'm starting to unlearn more and more of that as we get deeper into this site and just go for the stuff that wouldn't have seemed obvious 5 years ago or whatever, and just like let's do something totally crazy. Let's just have fun.
It was kind of funny. We had a caller call in a couple hours ago, and he was basically saying, "Oh, like I saw Tested came up, and like all the content is now streaming in." Like he's like, "Is that going to be on Giant Bomb?" And I was like, "Dude, Giant Bomb guys, like full time, we're on camera." It's like they weren't writing stuff at the same time. Like it's still pretty nuts. Where a lot of Tested's out of the office type stuff.
Well, Patrick was still working on news, so I know he's got some stories that he was just posting to Google Docs yesterday.
Was he putting them up like on Twitter?
Yeah, like publicly posting Google Docs and then linking to them on Twitter, saying, "Hey, here's some news."
What were the stories?
Let me look real quick. There was like part 2 of the Activision internal memo stuff.
That'll be fun. I really like that story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool having him on board. I thought that was like, it was neat to see on Giant Bomb. Like, when do we have like, you've done it, over the years a couple times, but that's never been, mostly our thing for the most part.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
it's never been a huge focus for us, and it's it's like I think it's a really great addition. I think he's already he's fitting in great and doing some cool stuff. So it's been really cool.
If only we had a website that we could let him post his articles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's see. He's got a few stories up here. The part 2 of the Activision memo kind of addresses the Activision's internal questions about like, why are we walking away from Guitar Hero instead of reinventing it? Which that had to be a tough choice for them.
Yeah.
There's also the news that Child of Eden PS3 is scheduled for September release, which is I believe substantially later than the 360 version, and they're not going on the record and saying that it's going to have PlayStation Move support, but that seems like a pretty likely thing to include.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a story about PlayStation Network being down. And that these, Anonymous has denied involvement with the incident related to the PSN servers being down. So, yeah.
How weird is it to have like a big hacker group around again?
It's awesome.
It feels like we haven't had one of those for like 10 years, you know? Just like this group that's out there like fucking up the world.
Yeah, and they're actually doing it. Like, that's the other thing. It's like there've been plenty of groups over the years, but you know, it was always like, oh, we figured out a good way to make free phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, the guy that was working in satellite repair that was able to paint the HBO satellite in like the mid 80s and broadcast weird messages, or the guy that in New York was dressed up like Max Headroom, like taking over TV stations and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nice to have like this, you know, nice in a really chaotic way, I guess, to have people out there doing weird shit.
Yeah, I just think
like
it's
future.
Yeah, it's just like movie stuff. Like
yeah, it's like Crash Override is out there with Angelina Jolie, and they are blading.
What's the one? The one that I love is what's the one with Ryan Phillippe?
Antitrust.
Antitrust, man, that one is the best.
Really?
Oh, I'm telling you, you want to go watch one? That's I think like Robbins, Tim Robbins is in it, playing like the maniacal Bill Gates, you know, like hates open source, and you know, Ryan Phillippe's like just talking open source like all day, like he's just open source. It's
we've got to share the code.
Yeah, so good old fun. Oh well, thanks, Joey. Thanks for you know, making sure that I'm back on, you know, the live stream in a proper way. I'm, you know, closing this thing out. McCurdy, you feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah, this is kind of like a quick look of website, you know, development.
It is.
It's kind of hard to talk and code at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I can see why this takes practice.
Yeah. I always find that funny, like when people like they'll make the comments like, oh, they don't, you know, the one who I hate, I always feel bad for is when Mike Horn gets on there, and he's always playing like the most in-depth crazy strategy game, you know, like we're playing like Shogun,
right?
And you're like trying, and it's like, you know, you're just trying to lead them on, being like, no, I want to see what that is, and you're just trying to show off the game. But like if you like played that game right and played like the strategy level of it, it'd be like a 3-hour quick look. And you would have you would have gotten through one battle, you know, and not really shown off anything.
It's really difficult to keep those things moving, especially in a lot of cases where we're showing relatively early parts of the game. Both, you know, like primarily because we don't want to spoil late game stuff for people, and also because a lot of these games are games that we're not going to play to completion because we would just review them if that was the case.
The stuff that I like that you guys have been doing lately is you've been doing those side-by-side ones where you've been you did that for Dragon Age 2, you did it for Crysis 2,
right?
Where you're showing like different versions of the same game at the same time. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's been cool. It's one of those things that like there was definitely like a lot of website traffic being pushed in the direction of people putting up screenshots of different versions of games. Like that was kind of a thing for a while, and I'm sure for some people it probably still is, but
it's never a surprise, is it? Like it's always the same result.
Especially not lately. Around PS3 launch, it probably made a lot more sense because there were a lot of people curious to see like what the PS3 was really capable of. But now that all that stuff's kind of established, and you know, everyone develops to the Xbox 360 spec, or in some cases they're developing to PS3 spec, because the memory situation is a lot more difficult to work with on PS3 than it is on any other platform right now. Then, you know, all the versions end up looking the same, and you know, it's like a lot of times in reviews we're not even including the paragraph that you used to have to write for every multi-platform review that broke it down, because it's the same. It's, guess what, guys, the PC version looks slightly better, but you know, it plays like a console game and is maybe a little jacked because the PC is not a console.
Yeah,
you know, it's really, and the 360 and PS3 versions look nearly identical, and the differences are not meaningful enough to really point out in probably 90% of the cases. Mortal Kombat was kind of an interesting change from that, just because they did have exclusive stuff in the PS3 version of the game, and you know, with Sony kind of throwing money at developers to add 3D support to third-party games, that then becomes like another thing that kind of brings back that platform comparison in a slightly more meaningful way.
And you've got a 3D TV at home, right?
Yeah, I bought one around the beginning of the year.
And you haven't really seen a need to make the move to that kind of stuff, right?
No way, not even. It's just not. It's just not necessary. I mean, if you're like way into 3D movies, then
which there's like 3 like
right.
big ones.
Yeah. Then maybe it becomes easier to justify, but I've just found it more difficult to play the games in 3D, and I tried to spend a lot of time adjusting to it and seeing if I would eventually get better. And it was a lot of stuff where in driving games and in shooters where you're kind of always driving into the screen and kind of looking at the horizon or whatever, like the HUD and the corners of the screen just become a lot harder to track. Like Killzone puts like pips on your HUD, kind of like waypoint type stuff. So it's like, go here, and here's how far away it is. And I found those really difficult to even like make out in the environment when you're playing in 3D, because it's you really have to focus, and all that time you're spending looking for that item and trying to focus on it and process it, you're getting shot apart. So it's like, it's a lot to deal with. Mortal Kombat is better at the 3D than most other games, but I think that's just a factor of the type of game it is. You're not really caring about the background and not spending a ton of time staring at the HUD all the time, and it's not as much of an issue. Which I guess it makes sense, because on the 3DS, Super Street Fighter 4 is kind of a good use of 3D also.
Sure.
I just think it's one of those things where, because it is just the background that you don't have to pay attention to, that it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
But we'll all end up with 3D TVs sooner or later, because they'll probably all have it before too long.
Just kind of built in.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing about getting a 3D TV is that in order to be able to handle the 3D, they also have to be like pretty good 2D TVs.
Yeah.
So, I bought this TV for $1,300 or something, and it's a pretty good 50-inch plasma screen.
That's pretty good for a new TV. Like, I love how that stuff keeps getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely feel silly about it, though, because it also means that we just end up with these fucking giant TVs in all of our houses.
Yeah. I mean, I have two 50-inch TVs here, and then I still have like my first HD TV, which is a gigantic CRT from Sony that I had to move from my living room into my spare room, and that thing is it feels like it's just 5,000 pounds. It's just such a pain in the ass to move.
I'm looking at, in our little studio area here, one of your crates.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of thinking, it's like you're kind of almost like me at this point, where you've got almost half of the crap from your house at the office. It's like I keep looking around like through the studio and stuff, and seeing like all these monitors and stuff, and like, oh yeah, I remember when I bought that 5 years ago. Like it's just here, it's just
right.
Like randomly just boxes of shit that somehow it just became more efficient to have here, like your copy of Cruisin' USA for the N64.
We're gonna need that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, we kind of have been loosely investigating ways to capture older game platforms. Remember we did the long live stream of old games?
And you did the Dreamcast stuff that one day.
Yeah. Dreamcast, I think we can get just fine. It's anything too much older than PlayStation, but also N64. Like they only spit out 240 lines, so all of our capture gear just doesn't even know what to do when we hook it up.
Is there no converter that we can get that just does it beforehand, like a hardware thing?
Yes, we can get a scan converter. We can go buy a Folsom, and I think we're gonna do it. But that thing's like.
Oh, hold on. You know what that means, Jeff. Just when I was getting really interested, we lost Skype there. I'll get you back here in a second. Hold on. Hey guys, if you're just kind of checking in, Andy was sitting there as well. The site, Giant Bomb's the only one that's still down. he has it pretty much running on, in his environment, and it should be, within an hour or so getting the actual site back up. But in the meantime, we've just been, sort of doing this radio show and talking with people. We had Jeff there for a bit. We'll get him back on. Joey's been nice enough to throw random footage from Quick Looks and stuff, and of course Hardcore Dave is there as well. He's always having fun. But Skype just went down, so we're just waiting for it to get back up, and we'll keep going with it. I'm here eating old stale cookies that hopefully I don't die from. They're expired. They've been in the office. I don't know who sent them to us. That's the big thing that you worry about with our mailbag stuff is, everybody sends us food, but we're always worried, like, well, what's going to happen one day when, it's like bad, rival video game website decides, to take out the entire Giant Bomb crew with, bad cookies. But anyways, Skype's back here now, and hopefully we'll get Jeff back here in a second. And if it's gonna be a little bit, maybe we'll take some calls as well. You guys back?
We are.
Well, that's you. Let me see if I can get Jeff in here as well. Hold on. Come on, Jeff. Oh man, pinwheels.
Hello.
Jeff, you there?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, Andy, you're there, right? Oh, it's just, we'll need Andy. Andy, if you can, call us back, and we'll get you in there as well. Exciting stuff getting a website back, huh?
Yeah. What's the
first thing I'm going to do? Oh, well, I don't know the word. I didn't, we of course dropped Andy.
Yeah.
When he called. Let's see if I can get him back here and add him. And I wish it would do stuff a little better. It's like with Skype, it's weird. Like you can get to the person, but you can't like necessarily add them. Add them back in. It's weird. And of course, a million other people are calling at the same time. So I'm trying to massively move all these things.
Sift through the windows.
Yeah, sift through the windows to try and find Andy, which is not very fun. Andy, you can hear me. Why aren't you calling me, buddy? There you are. Let me see if I can get you through here. I don't know. No luck. May have to wait for Andy a little bit until he calls us. What were we talking about?
I was talking about the scan converter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tell me. How are we doing this? You were telling me how much it cost.
$7,000.
Oh man. No wonder we stopped on that. Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, I said 7,000 the last time and there was no response, and I thought that maybe I had
done some humorous pausing.
Yes, that you had totally flipped out.
Yeah.
The notion that we were going to spend 7 Gs to capture Super Nintendo games, but Tested benefits from it also because they're getting an increasing number of weird devices that output video in really weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
So the Folsom box can take any resolution and turn it into any other resolution, and it'll be pretty useful. Also makes capturing PC stuff a lot easier.
Yeah. And there's Andy. We got him back.
Yeah.
Hey.
Andy.
Hey.
What's the latest?
The latest is that the site is working internally.
Okay.
And we are changing the load balancer right now to not show that stupid splash page anymore.
Aw. But that splash page is fun.
But it's
Did we
going to
go off
refresh
for a bit, Joey? Sorry about that, guys. I guess the TriCaster freaked out, but we're back on, for this last gasp. Live programming as it happens. You're hearing Andy McCurdy type furiously in the background to get our website back and going. And apparently Jeff is thinking about spending $7,000 on a scan converter.
This is just what I'm told, man. This is, Vinny does the research and says, here's what we need to do this. And then I say, and they said they were okay with that? And he says, yeah, I guess. And I'm like, all right.
Well,
Let's
see,
go.
you know, the Whiskey Media way, you just need to get like one other site on with you, right?
Right, yeah.
It's like, oh, well, they said they could use it too. And it's like, well, then, you know, we're getting more benefit from it. So
Exactly. We can amortize this across whatever.
Did you you watched did you see the screen segment that they did yesterday for the happy hour? Where they were doing the trivia stuff?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That was actually kind of fun. Like you know, sometimes the screen stuff, you know, when you're just showing the trailers, it gets a little slow. I liked kind of the interactive. It was a good way to do a game thing without necessarily having, you know, ridiculous trivia that, you know, people might not know.
Right. Yeah. I think it went pretty well too. It's funny because it's one of those things that's like like they went for such like the easiest themes in the world. And there were still a couple of people that couldn't get them.
Well,
but, you know,
especially
I
Ryan.
wouldn't have gotten all of them either. So.
Ryan just, you know, is like so confident that he's going to jump in there, and of course misses Schindler's List.
Yeah, and that would have been the one I would have missed also.
Yeah.
So.
I think the Spartacus one stumped me a little bit. But
Oh yeah, I probably wouldn't have gotten Spartacus either. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see a lot of movies.
So if we're doing if we did get the scan converter and went and started doing some of the classic stuff, what do you think would be the first ones that you'd want to go to and do?
Night Trap. I don't know, like some Sega CD greats.
Yeah,
that
sure.
need to be preserved for future generations.
Yeah, Sewer Shark.
Yeah. Sewer Shark.
Go through the whole Crystal Dynamics lineup.
Right. Play some Off-World Interceptor.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it, Skype. I hate you. Oh, you're killing me. Everything's always falling apart in this office, or at least this week. We'll try and get Skype here back again. Andy should have the site back up in a second, so we're just running through this stuff. Luckily, Joey's in the office with me. He's been helping out. And we were talking with Jeff and Andy just in these last few minutes while the sites go up. Who is that next to Sarah? That almost looks like Will, but it's not Will. And he's looking at me. He looks like he's looking at my soul. Doesn't he kind of look? He looks a little bit like Will. He's like a bigger Will. Anyways, we're just waiting here for Skype to get back. We'll get Jeff and Andy here in a second. If you can, just hold your calls. It makes it a little bit easier on me so that I can actually get them in here. Just random happy hour. Is this just a random happy hour footage that we have?
Yeah, trying to find stuff we have available.
Yeah. Again, guys, you can always go to gamebomb.ru if you want, your Giant Bomb fix in Russian. It's always a fun experience. We're just waiting here for Skype. I don't know whether or not to blame the Skype Mac client or whether it really just isn't meant to have, such a large contact list here. And we do get, this thing lights up when people come in. But here we'll try and get Andy in. There's Jeff. Oh, thanks for being patient, guys. I appreciate it. I know this isn't the best setup that we could get for you, but at the moment it's what we got till we get the site up. Jeff, you back?
Hello.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello, I have.
Turn your radio down.
I can't. Hello, I hear myself.
Yeah.
I can't.
What?
I hear myself.
Yeah, it's echo. Caller. Who screened these calls? God damn it. Andy, if you're there, give me a call back. I got to get you in here. But yeah, dude, Sega CD, I think's the fun ones. I think could we get 3DO if we wanted to, like without that stuff?
You mean without the scan converter?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know what resolution that thing spits out. I'm gonna say probably not.
Yeah.
But it's hard to know without actually just hooking it all up and trying it.
Yep. We got McCurdy back now as well.
We do.
McCurdy, as we always come back, what's the status?
Refresh, Dave. Works for me.
Oh, we got a website again?
Works for me, dude. I don't know what your problem is.
I'm looking for it. This is always the famous. What do you? No, I still see the splash screen. Up.
Sights up, dude.
Up. No, it's taking a really long. Oh, hey! All right, guys. Man, that a long couple days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dude.
The splash screen's still showing on one host, so we'll take that off here in a second.
Okay. That's. Hey, Jeff, you know what's pretty hilarious? Look at that first news item.
Yeah.
that we've basically been playing the $1 million pyramid all day here on loop, or for the past couple days. And of course, if you didn't get enough of that, it's right there.
Now it's there on demand.
Yeah,
now
you can
watch it when you want to watch it.
You can download it. And guys, just like we said, this is Andy. We didn't restore a backup, right? This is the same database.
This is the database as of whenever the site went down.
Yeah.
We did not restore.
No data loss there. All your wiki points, all that stuff should be fine. All the login stuff's fine. My guess is, we may have a couple things to do with some subscription level stuff. Probably next week, we're going to go there and investigate how we can bump everybody's paid memberships up, like we mentioned. And Andy, my guess is we'll probably put up some sort of detailed, what went wrong post or something on the Whiskey blog, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's always fun. It's always fun when we write, isn't it?
Yeah. It's always fun to edit your writing.
Yeah. It's always, people always laugh. Like sometimes they'll give me credit for some sort of review or something. I'll be like, yeah, dude, you don't really see them before they hit Jeff. So the words get a little more sort of civil. I know that I spend quite a bit of time saying game, the game.
I do that a lot too. It's a hard. The whole review is you talking about a game, right? So it's you don't want to write the name of the game every single time either. That would almost be worse. So, you locked up again, didn't you?
No, I didn't lock up.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm still here.
All right, I thought you were gone.
And if I did lock up, when you saying that, like I wouldn't respond, like I couldn't. You'd just be like, "Fucking," that's what you should be saying, like me.
Yeah, like fucking shit, goddamn.
In fact, why are we even talking anymore, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm trying to upload an image right now.
Did you see my Terminator image?
I did. Where did we end up using that? It never ended up showing up on that splash page.
Well, I put it on all the sites as they've been going up. I've been putting a post up. I'll end up putting the same one just for people who may have missed the last 3 days. But yeah, it's up there, where I put the Whiskey logo on Coit Tower.
Yeah,
which I thought was a nice touch.
That's gonna happen someday.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, when we get super big,
we will take over Coit Tower. We'll just end up on the top of it, just eating like deli meats and drinking beers up there.
Yeah. Speaking of beers, I think I'm gonna call this show over and go to sleep. Maybe take a shower. Do something active. Mr. McCurdy, thank you for getting our websites back up.
You're welcome. Alexis says to tell you that his blood hurts.
His blood? Oh, because he drank too much last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? Designers got to learn to drink. I don't know what to tell you.
Give me a headline for this Witcher 2 video that you haven't seen. How about some guys talking about Witcher 2?
No.
2.
What's the crazy German band that we like, Andy?
Blind Guardian.
Yeah. Blind Guardians in Dark Rooms. No.
I can do that. It has nothing to do with The Witcher 2.
Yeah.
But I'll incorporate that into the deck.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just want Blind Guardian in there somehow, because when I think of Blind Guardian, I think of like a bunch of guys with long hair, sitting in a dark room, talking about hobbits, and that's not too far off from The Witcher 2.
All right, so the deck is you don't need to be a blind guardian to see this dark room full of developers.
Great. Great. Perfect. I'm glad that I could add my piece to Giant Bomb.
Some guys talking about The Witcher 2. That's the headline. Way better, right?
Yeah. All right, as soon as this is going to hit the front door here in a second,
Assuming that all of the video processing and uploading worked when I dropped this movie in a couple of days ago, yes.
Okay.
I am hitting publish.
It'd be really funny if you hit that publish bug while
Right.
this was happening.
Sites seem a little slow. Search seems a little pokey. I don't know if that's...
We should complain to Andy.
Yeah. Also, Andy, I don't know if you've seen, there's been some achievement issues lately.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
I don't know if you're busy right now, but yeah.
I'm missing that one. It just doesn't show up.
Andy, what do you think Amazon's going to come out and say about all this next week? You have any idea?
I think they'll have a very detailed post-mortem. In the past, they have. I don't think that they're going to give anyone free time or anything like that. At least I wouldn't expect them to.
I thought they said that if they didn't maintain 90% uptime, that they would give everybody 10 months off of their bill. Or 10% off of their bill, rather.
Oh.
That was one of their pledges before going in.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it seems like it would be very difficult to figure out which specific accounts were affected by this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, maybe. That'd be nice.
All right, guys, I'm tired.
I hit publish and it didn't go up, but I think that's because the video probably didn't
wasn't
go
made.
through properly, so I'll have to re-upload it.
Yeah. Oh, and I just got a 500, so.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, well. Guys, I'm going to end this.
All
I'm
right.
tired. I want to go home. I want to go to bed. Thank you for being on our show.
502 on the homepage.
502.
This is really a cheat code. We're
Yeah.
giving you the numbers.
Yeah.
Enter these in for Gears 3 beta access.
Everybody who's called in over the past 3 days, thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. I appreciate helping us build content for the website as you have. It's been a lot of fun. And I think we're going to end it, Jeff.
All right. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
What are you doing on Monday?
I'm going down to Los Angeles to film a bonus round appearance for game trailers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll see you on Tuesday.
I'm going to go hang out with Michael Pachter.
Sounds like your thing, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Later, Jeff.
Later.